All right, I think we're good, man. I think my computer is holding up and it ain't exploded yet.
Heck yeah.
All right,
Let's
so
go.
well, from behind the booth, what up, y'all? Episode 32 with my man DJ Eddie Boy. What up, Eddie?
What up, y'all? What up, guys? What's up, everyone?
Tight, man. I'm so happy that,
How we
that
doing?
you're on here, bro.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, bro. Thanks for
Yes,
having me, man.
for sure, dude. I'm just like checking one little thing. I want to crop this little thing. Okay, cool. So looks good.
Just make me look good, bro.
Nah,
Make me look
bro,
good.
come on.
Take away the double chin.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that because I just had like a little post about that too, where I was like, man, I got double chin too, and I'm like trying to get rid of this shit, dog.
It's all about angles, bro. It's all about
I know you,
angles.
you
The
gotta get
higher it is, the better.
yeah, or you go below the camera so they can't see
Exactly.
under.
Exactly.
um, yeah, man. So I mean, honestly, there's a lot for us to talk about, really. And I don't
Cool,
know
cool.
what you're like. Are you kind of like, what kind of time constraint are you on? Like, you
Let's
know?
go, man. Let's
Okay.
go. Let's go, baby. Let's
Um,
go.
yeah. So I mean, I really wanted to start out. I usually start out with like the origin story, bro. Like, if we have time
Hmm.
for that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so, I mean, just a little like background, real quick, just to let people know, like, kind of how you and I met.
Yeah.
Well, coincidentally, like, we're from the same like area, right? So you're like
Area.
from
Uh-huh.
San Bernardino area.
Yeah.
Um, and I met you at the Beyond the Music conference.
That's right.
That
That's
was
first.
like our
Yeah.
official, like, hey,
Official
what's
meet,
up,
like meet.
And
Hey,
it
what's
was
up?
even
Exactly.
that was like really quick, like I
Very.
think it was kind of through the ear, like we kind of heard of each other, but never
Yeah,
like
yeah.
been formally introduced.
Absolutely.
And I know Dazzler too, so like
Nice.
that's all through the DJ City stuff. Um,
Heck yeah.
but yeah, before we go like too far into that, I did want to say, yeah, like let's start with like the origins, man. Like, how long you been DJing, like,
How
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 you
I
learned.
let me see. The way I started uh well, I owe it all to my dad, man. It's always been like music inclined, man. He would always play music every day. And the cool part, he would play everything too, not just a certain genre. He
Hmm.
was playing from Rolling Stones, Michael J, to Los Socios de Ritmo. I mean, he was playing Los Babies. He was playing, everything 70s, 80s disco, like. So from that, and then so I've always been like a fan of music, basically,
Yeah.
from
So
so as a baby.
your dad's like a long time like DJ.
No, he actually wasn't a DJ.
Oh, okay.
He was a musician. Um, he plays the keyboard, the guitar, the bass
Mm,
guitar, accordion. So he was very, came from a music background.
that's dope,
But
man.
he was never, yeah, he's never was I think he was in a band one time
Mm,
in high school. He was actually a singer, supposedly. That's
mm.
what he said. I wish there was like video of him. But yeah,
Right.
so growing up, bro, like since he was such a big music fan, um, and that's where it came from. And when I was younger, like, 6 to like 11, 10 years old, I was playing soccer. I was a big soccer fan.
Let's
I
go.
was
I was
playing
playing soccer
soccer.
too,
Yeah,
dog.
yeah.
What position did you play
So
in
yes,
soccer?
I was a fullback, right fullback.
Let's go. I was
I was
midfield. I
defensive.
was
Yeah,
midfield too. Yeah.
yeah. So that was my passion, school and soccer.
Right.
And there was a kid by the name of Casey on my soccer team that we had damn, I'm remembering this. We had a Christmas, like a Christmas gathering with the whole team at his house.
Right.
And so this fool had like this crazy like mansion, like
Oh
huge
shit.
mansion.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I remember we were there. I was like I think I was like 11, 12 years old, dude. I think something around. And so he had turntables. So um, I was so fascinated with it. I was like, how's he playing records? Like, what the hell?
So he
Like, it
knew
was
how to
just,
use them, like they were his.
yeah, they were
Oh,
his.
okay.
Because dad was a DJ, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So dad like kind of taught him.
Right.
So I remember we left the party, and I told my dad, I like turntables. I want, because my dad he had turntable, but his was a belt drive,
Right.
direct drive.
Yeah, the
So
classic
he would
ones. Yeah.
to just to play records.
Right.
And we left that, and then so it happened like the month after, or months after, we went to my cousin's house. My cousin, they live in Tucson, Arizona, and my cousin Arturo, he was like, I think he was like 19, 20 years old, I think, and he was actually a DJ. Him and a partner, they were DJs together.
Hmm.
So when I walked into his room, I saw the turntables again. Like from what I saw at my buddy Casey's house,
Right.
I saw the tables again, and I was like, "Yo!" So I remember he had stepped out of the room, and I just started kind of like, yeah, kind of just going back and forth with it. Just I
Yeah.
was just so said fascinated with how I would play, and then um, so I he kind of taught me somewhat of a basic to like mix and just kind of like go back and forth with songs, whatever.
Right.
So I remember he told me, he's like, dude, when you get home, tell your dad, because it was around like Christmas time. It was, yeah, it was, no. Anyway, he's like, tell your dad to buy you tables. Like, there's something, just tell him to buy tables.
Yeah.
And so around that time too, that's when I was listening to DJ Henry's the Power Workout at 12 o'clock on Power 106.
Right.
So one of the things that I've always loved about Henry was that he would always play like Latin house.
Hmm.
Like yeah, it was all like Latin house and like just the 90s house
Some
music.
cafe con leche type of shit like that.
Yeah, so I was always a fan of a mover la colita, rumba. And so finally my dad bought me a pair of turntables. They were Geminis,
Hmm.
right? So he bought me those, and I hate admitting this, but I was kind of like, oh, I want techniques. I was like a brat, like I was a spoiled brat, dude. And so,
No, but you know what?
uh,
Hey, you know what though? I could kind of relate to that because like there sometimes like it's like you kind of know what you want as a kid, but you can't blame the parent because
yeah,
the parents like, well, what if it's just another fucking phase or some shit like that? And I had parents that like, dude, I had parents that like I would ask for something like something simple like for I have a prime example, bro. Like I would ask for
yeah.
like a Razor scooter, and then they got me like this fucking off-roading bike like scooter, and I was like, dude, I just want to like ride with my homies, like now with this fucking big ass like Tonka truck thing, you know. So it'd
That's
be
so
it'd be
true.
like that sometimes, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's just because I seen my cousin have them,
Yeah.
and then that guy Casey had them.
Yeah.
So, and so my dad goes, well, let's just see, like, play with these, like,
Yeah.
let's see how what it is.
Oh, you told him
And
that?
so,
You told him that?
yeah, I did too. I tell him, he goes, no, let's just, because I think there was a price difference on them.
Oh,
Those
for
Gemini
sure, of
with
course. Yeah.
techniques, there was a price
Yeah.
difference. So he was just, and then, like you said, he was more like, this kid's not gonna use. It's just a little phase.
Yeah, yeah.
So at the time I was playing soccer, I was like like I was really good at it. Like, I was like in what's it called? Club teams,
Yeah.
different club teams. And so,
Hey, can you
little,
still play? Just out of curiosity.
bro, I'm like 300 pounds bigger than I was when I was playing. I want to, but I'm scared about my ankles, bro. Like,
Yeah.
my ankles are cool, but now soccer is very like quick. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And so I'm scared I'm gonna my old ass is fucking, and then there goes my
Hey,
ankle, and
I'm just
then
asking
whatever.
because when shit gets back to normal, bro, like legit, like me and my homies would set up like little soccer games once in a while, or like
Oh, serious?
football
Oh, yeah, I'm
games, you
like,
know?
yeah. If it's nothing crazy competitive, like I'm down to play.
Yeah, no,
Get the ball, like,
I
yeah,
like to
definitely.
keep my ears out, like in case we need
Yeah,
dudes, you know?
yeah. I've just always been a fan of it. Still, I am of soccer and
For
stuff like
sure,
that. But
bro.
that was like my passion back then. And so, but little by little, I started to just liking more of the music. And my dad started noticing that, because my dad was like, "Yo," he noticed one day. He was like, "You're not liking soccer anymore, huh?" Because this is the time already. I was in my first gig was seventh grade. It was the final, like your final dance before you graduate. You know how in seventh and I'm sorry, eighth grade.
Right. Eighth grade.
It was my eighth grade, like peace out dance. And I remember Jeff, he was a DJ. He worked at the school, and he was actually their DJ.
Hmm.
He knew that I DJ'd, and he let me play records. it was my eighth grade dance, and I played records, and the whole like class was just like,
So
"Yo,
so we skipped that whole part. Like, how did you learn? You know, like, so I mean, you had turntables when you had those Geminis. You know,
um,
how long was that time frame when you were like practicing and all that? You know,
so the way I was practicing, um,
were you just figuring it out? Because I mean,
I'm trying to figure out who it was. Actually, Jeff, the guy that he was a teacher over at my junior high.
uh huh.
He's the one that would give me tips, and then from there, from junior high, I actually met um, my guy named Andy, and he had a brother named Moses,
Mm-hmm.
goes by DJ Release. Really good friends of mine to this day. Um, he was a DJ, so then I would go to their house,
Hmm.
and he would kind of teach me like the basics, and so
Yeah.
I would just go back and forth on records, like because he had a shitload of records.
Hey, and
Um,
this like this enticed
yeah,
you
that's
over
exactly.
like you know, you didn't have a fucking Nintendo 64 or something.
Not at all, brother. I was never like, yeah, I had my your Super Mario's Nintendo, but
Yeah.
I was always just with music, man. Music was just my like my thing, and so that's how I learned. It was eighth grade. It was through Moses because when I left, I remember I had left my cousins from Arizona, and then my dad had bought me the turntables, and then that's how I met um, Andy and Mo, and they were DJs, and so I would go to their house a lot, and we would just practice. And then that's when I started buying records.
That's all that
Uh,
always
uh
like is like so interesting to me, like how
huh.
like, you know, especially the guys that been in the game, like, you know, kind of before Serato and stuff, and
Hmm.
like the ones that really started off early. It's so funny to me that like they were so enticed by, you know, like just the way that the turntable works, and you know, oh, you put a
Yeah,
record on and like that's how, you know, you get music out.
yeah,
Like I always say this, like I don't know that if I would have had that calling, you know, in that particular area, because I was like, man, like, you know, I'll play my Nintendo 64 or whatever. But you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I mean, fortunately, I did find interest in it. But it's always interesting to me when I talk to like, you know, like I said, like the people that got into it early, that was genuinely like
Older
the
than you,
spark of
the
it.
people that are older, the people that are older than you,
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
old bucks. Basically, in other words, more older
The
guys,
nice
more
way
older
of saying
people.
it.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's all. And then, you know what's funny, dude? Like I'm very happy. Yeah, like carrying all those crates was like a like. Can we cuss on here? Bro? Can we
Oh
curse?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was a bitch to carry. Like
yeah,
it was, but I'm glad I went through that era, dude. I'm
yeah,
glad I went through that buying records and getting doubles and spending $1,000 on records, and you only make fucking $75 a gig or
mm.
$50 or $20 or shit a piece of cake that I got one time as like thank you for playing. Here's a piece of cake. Like
Oh,
it
I
was
haven't
just
heard
worth
that
it. So
one.
yeah, dude. Yeah,
I
that's
haven't
the
heard
best
that
story.
one,
That's
dude.
funny. I DJ'd the gig, and at the end, the guy was like, "Oh, okay, good job. Like, here's a piece of cake for you to take home." And then I was like, "Yo, it was $20, $30, nothing."
That's
So
crazy.
yeah. So,
And and
anyways,
and you
but
know, real quick,
just
Eddie, like hold on to that thought, but like, you know, that is kind of essentially like the purpose of the podcast is like I
uh-huh.
like to share knowledge, and I like to, you know, especially when I was more active at Scratch. I don't even want to get into that whole like discussion, but when I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
more active at Scratch, you
yeah,
know, a lot of students would have a lot of questions, and I would always kind of tell them like, hey, man, like, I mean, I'll answer any question you want, but I have a podcast, and I think you should listen because we
yeah,
cover a lot of things like that, and you know, it's just so informational, and it also I
yeah,
like to make like the thing that's important about this whole thing is like it makes you tangible, bro, because you see somebody that you idolize, like, you know, you see Scratch Bastard and you're like, wow, that guy's fucking amazing,
yeah.
and
That
you just
that's
seems
she's
like to you it just to or to a lot of not to you, I'm just saying a lot of people in general, especially when you start out, it just seems impossible. It's like, oh, I could never be that,
be
you
like
know, and
that.
it's like
Huh.
for me, like the way that I understand you, like I look at you, like I think you're kind of like you're kind of in the middle, bro. Like you're getting close to there, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why I like to talk to people like you because you're tangible though. Like you, yet
Mhm.
you're getting big, but you're not like fucking superstar yet.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
and it's
yeah, for
cool
sure.
because then people could be like, oh, like, you know, that guy's like I could be like that guy, and if I could be like that guy, and then it's more
Yeah, yeah,
tangible to be like
of course.
Crash Bassett or whatever. You know what I mean?
No, for sure, absolutely, man. It's just it's you always got to be a student in this game, man. It's you always got to just continue keep on learning because you can't you have to continue keep on learning because we can always improve. You know what I'm saying on whether if it's like mixing skills or scratching or it's all about learning still, man. You can't just stop learning. You have to like you know what I mean.
Right.
I'm forever gonna be a student in this game, like and and yeah, like yeah, to be on the Scratch Bastards level, like a Miles Medina level, a Spinoza level, like that's, oof.
It's goals
But it's
though,
just
you know. It's
it's
like
possible.
something to
It's
strive
not
for, you
possible.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's possible, and and yeah, man, it just takes a lot of practice and commitment,
Yep. Yep.
and but it's possible, dude. It's not nothing's impossible to do, especially like in the DJing stuff. The more you practice, all those hours of like downloading music and putting sets together and just really putting a lot of work into it, and it'll pay off. It'll show like if
Yes.
you do that because you could tune into a DJ and you're like, yo, he practices,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you can tune into DJ when he's like, oh, he's just kind of like going
Going
through
through
the
the
motions.
motions.
He's
Yeah.
just playing records.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can tell who's doing that extra like
Mm-hmm.
practicing,
Yeah.
and that's what I noticed even with Twitch and even in clubs when clubs were open,
Yeah.
you can tell who puts some like work into it. So,
Yeah.
and that's what I tell anybody that asks me any advice or anything. Just continue practicing, man. Stay fresh. Don't just look at it as like a job, like a week. Okay, I'll just play the same records. I'm gonna play next week, and like
Yeah.
no, like find a a cool transition, learn a new scratching pattern, or just practice. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Like practice. Find new records that are like those wow records. Like oh, when you drop in the club, like
And
it's just
go ahead.
yeah. No, no, go ahead, bro. Go
Oh,
ahead.
and I was just gonna say, so like back to what you were saying. You're saying that you were like thankful for like those days of like carrying crates and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I'm assuming like the disciplines of it are like just is that why you were saying that? Like you're glad that you did that?
Yeah, exactly. And so like like I said, I'm glad I was in that era where I had to buy all that stuff because there was a point. So let me rewind it back. So that's when my dad started realizing like, hey, like you're not liking soccer anymore
Mm-hmm.
because clubs playing on club soccer, you got to pay for it monthly,
Yep, I
which
know.
I didn't know that until now. I didn't know that because I was just a kid, like just loving
Everything's
soccer.
free when you're a kid, bro. You're like, what? You didn't mean you gotta
Of
pay?
course, man, exactly. So my dad goes, that's when in high school like days, he started seeing because I played high school ball too. He started seeing like you're not into this anymore. Like
Yeah, but
this,
actually, like in accordance to your timeline, you said that this is actually before that, right? Because you're talking about high school right now, but you were saying that you did your first dance, like the eighth grade dance, right?
yeah, but it was more yeah. But my dad looked at it more like it's a hobby, like it's cool.
Mm.
He's not nothing. Yeah, but I did my first gig. It was yeah, eighth grade, Oaks Middle School. I
Yeah,
remember that.
and were
And
you were do you remember like were you actually mixing or are you just fading in and
yeah,
out?
yeah, no, for sure.
Okay.
Records,
So yeah,
yeah, for
because
sure.
I was
Because
kind of curious, like that part. So you just learned from you were saying you learned from your dad's friend or something,
no, it was
or
through
the guy from school.
my boy DJ Release
Mm-hmm.
is his it was his brother. His name's Andy, and then my buddy Release. So I learned from them like mixing the records,
Mm-hmm.
like how how everything like it's all timing. You know what I mean? And
Right.
when to throw the record in,
Right.
when to mix out.
Right.
So he taught me like the basics of that.
Right.
And yeah, man, I was throwing. I can't tell you which records they were I
Oh
was playing,
yeah.
but I was actually mixing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Because even
Cool.
that, I remember even that teacher was like, I used to work there, Jeff. He was like, dude, you have something. Like, keep going with this. Like,
Mm.
you're good. So I remember from then I started picking up. Like, my dad started helping me out with more equipment. I remember my first house party gig I did for like a quinceañera, and it was in front of my house.
Mm.
So I literally just carried like everything in pieces to that house.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because back then, like, I didn't have your quarter inch plug-in. It was like I sound like I'm like 100 years old. It was actually those wires where you have to kind of
Like the ones for
click this little like
like a car speaker, huh?
yeah, car speaker
Yeah.
exactly. So it was one of those wires, and I remember the setup was like wires everywhere, but I was just
With
playing music and I was
and
happy.
those are like the amps
It was
like
a
in the
amp,
racks,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was actually using speakers, my dad's like home speakers. I was
but
using it. Yeah,
but
bro.
that's the thing, bro.
But it
Like,
worked.
but
It
like,
worked.
yeah, no, I mean, and that's a good point, and that's something that we talked about like on my last podcast with my friend Cardelli. Um, is the importance of like really utilizing what you have, and often
Mhm.
so many people like they want to go like they think that they can't do things because it's a money thing, and they're like, oh, I gotta buy all this stuff, and a
Mhm.
lot of times, man, like you know, like the money comes later. Like, yeah, I mean, do what you can with what you can at the moment, and then of course, like, yeah, I would expect you to invest in yourself.
Yeah, yeah, for
Like
sure.
if you still had that same setup, Eddie boy, then we'd be in a predicament. Like, come on, bro, like
Be a different
step your
predicament.
shit up,
Yeah, for
bro.
sure.
But like
Yeah,
you
yeah, for
just
sure.
started, like cool, like make that
Yeah,
shit work for what it is, and
uh-huh.
and then as time goes on, you grow. And like I said, I like to highlight that because again, there's a lot of like beginner DJs that listen to the podcast and they think they get overwhelmed. It's like oh, I got to do all this, and then they just don't do anything. So
Yeah,
I like to kind of like highlight stuff like that because it's like, no, man, just baby step it. Everybody's been there. You've been there. I've been there.
yeah,
But
yeah,
then eventually you start to grow, and it's the same thing kind of like with Twitch.
yeah, definitely. And then that's the so that gig happened, and then I just started. I remember just doing
Anything you could get, right? Any gigs?
anything I can get.
Yeah.
Like it was all word of mouth.
Right.
That's what I would do. My deals, my deal and my tia's anniversary party or something in their
Yep.
backyard.
Yep.
Just gigs like that. Like it
Yep.
was very, you know. Just keep in mind, I'm only like at this time, I'm only like 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm playing, and it's my dad obviously taking me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, um,
Shout out to the parents,
and
man. There's a lot of parents
yeah,
like with
man,
the podcast that their
yeah,
their dad was driving them, fucking picking them up at
yeah,
like 2 in the morning and shit. It's like
I
that's
remember,
that's
yeah.
cool,
So
dog.
yeah, definitely. And and so from then that's when I said I was telling you my dad was like, yeah, you're not liking soccer anymore. So finally I finished up high school, which I was doing all the high school dance and and backyard parties still. And then I'm trying to remember when was my first club gig. Um and I want to say my first club gig was in Chino. I think I was still 17. Um, it was my first. It was a bar. It was this bar called. It was called Godfathers in Chino.
Hmm.
Shout out to Rolo and Lim. They're the ones that kind of gave me a break there. And I was so young still.
Nice.
And then so a lot of people don't know this, but so I started. My dad started helping me buy more new equipment, whatever, and so forth. So, um, and then my first break, since when I started, I was in the IE, right?
Right.
My first like club gigs, nightclubs were in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I would never DJ out here in the IE.
Hmm.
Not because I didn't want to, but my opportunities came in Hollywood, LA.
Yeah.
And shouts to my guy Tony Martinez. He used to go by DJ Squigs. He gave me like he would tell me because I met him. Damn, that's bringing back a lot of memories because I met him through the record store when I used to work in Pomona. Jeez, dude, this is bringing back a lot of memories.
Going back, baby.
Oh,
Going back.
nostalgic feeling right now, bro. So he was the one that gave me like the he would tell me come through, check out my gigs.
Right.
Um, and then finally he was like, "Yo, you want to open?" And I was lugging my two crates, and um, yeah, that's kind of the one that sticks out to me. So yeah, I was doing that for a while, like in my early 20s.
Right.
Um, and so, man, that's crazy. I'm just bringing back memories. But yeah, man, like it was just like um, throughout that too as well. I was going to college, and then that's when my dad, I think, finally, because at first he was like, "Yo, are you gonna land like a real job? Like, what are you doing with this? Like, do you
Yeah.
want to?" And then he saw that I started making more money.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, doing like not the clubs in the beginning.
Right.
It was
The
more of
private
like
stuff.
the
Yeah.
quinceañeras and weddings and private stuff. I
Right.
mean, that's where I was making decent money
Hmm.
at a young age.
For sure.
So then he kept on helping me with equipment, and then finally there was a point where I not stopped, but I was doing more clubs. Like clubs became like that's all you do because going back, one of my first jobs that I had was I used to sell and rent tuxedos
Mm.
right out of high school. So it was cool, a cool job because when I was working there, I would um, talk to them, because they were coming there like, oh, for my quinceañera, he's a chambelán, and or for my wedding. So what I would do, they'd be like, hey, have a DJ? Like,
Let's
guess what?
go, man. Let's go.
So we don't have a DJ. Why? I was like, well, I looked around. My manager was listening. Like, I'm actually DJing. Oh, no way. Okay, yeah, let's. So that would get a lot of gigs. It
Yo,
was just come on, like,
let's take a
a
little
little hustle.
pause right now, man, because I love that, bro. Like, I fucking love that so much, man. And I try to tell people that because I have a lot of friends where they're like, oh, like, whenever I go out, I introduce myself as Wally, and they're like, oh, like, that's your name? I'm like, no, that's my DJ name, but I always, go by Wally. Like, that's what everybody calls me. And a
Right.
lot of my friends are like, they're like, oh, I don't really tell people that I'm a DJ. I'm like, why? Like, dude, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And
Yeah,
you are your
yeah.
business and you are your brand. Like,
Especially if
fucking
it's yeah, yeah,
it's so
definitely.
I think it's super important. And I love that you were doing that. And like, I think that there's a lot of people in those same positions, like, that are in jobs and they don't see like the angle or like the beauty of that. Like, that's a beautiful thing, bro. Like, that you're working at a fucking, like, I would have never really guessed that, but that's so perfect. That makes sense. And I
'Cause
love, I'm a big fan of Gary Vee, and he's
oh
very
yeah,
like into like entrepreneurial stuff too.
sure,
And I
yeah,
love like hearing stuff like that, like, work, quote air quotes here for those who are just listening, but it's like, work that like shit job, but like, work it, like, work that angle if you can. And the fact that
yeah,
you found like a little in right there, like, that's dope. And
yeah.
that's really great. Like, when I had my early high school, or my first job was what's it called, audio visual technician at a DJ school, and
Oh,
I mean, not
shit.
a DJ
Nice.
school, at my college. And so
Uh
same
huh.
thing, like, I was working events, and then it kind of like would come out like, oh yeah, next time if you guys need a DJ, here's my card, like that.
Perfect.
That's important,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to have a little hustle. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's
And you,
dope.
yeah. I remember telling my dad. I was like, hey, Dad, do you think it'd be a good idea? He goes, yes, do it. So I remember one time that I got in trouble because um, the the king. I think it was. I don't know if it was a quinceañera or wedding. They came back to drop off their tuxedos, and then I think the general manager was there,
Uh-huh.
district manager, and my manager was there, and the mom was like, "Hey, is Eddie asked for me if Eddie was working?" And then they were like, "No, he's off today. Is there like we can help you?" But just tell him he did a great job at our quinceañera, like, or was I don't know if it was a quinceañera or what. Just tell him he did a great job.
uh,
And so I think they talked. They were like, "Wait, what?" So then the next day, like the next week or something, my manager Jennifer, she's like, "Hey, Jeff, the DM wants to talk to you." And I was like, "Oh shit."
oh shit.
And that's what he told me. Hey, Eddie, I know what you're doing. It's cool, but just know, like, what if something happens where a speaker falls on a guest, and then they come back, and since you work here,
Yeah,
it can be like an issue. And I was like, yeah, I get it.
I
Like,
get it. Yeah,
so I understand that part. Or like, not to say you're gonna do a bad job, but let's say you do a
you do
bad
a
job,
bad
and
job. Yeah,
that can reflect on our business too because you work there. So they're like,
yeah,
yo, Eddie works there. I'm not gonna get more tuxes from that. You know what I mean? So it got kind of thing, but I kind of like low key step kept on doing it, but I was just being very more, very careful and
for
stuff like
sure.
that.
No, I
And then
mean,
that's when I left that job and then went to working at my, I don't even call it my next job, but I started at Radio Futura in Pomona. I used to work at a record store there next to the
oh,
Globe in
cool,
downtown
cool.
Old Pomona, which is
Real
like catty corner from the Glass House.
Real quick, shout out to Reload. He's hosting it, so I definitely gotta shout that. I mean, there's people in here commenting and stuff,
Oh
but
shit, we're live!
yeah, man, we're Twitch
Oh
live,
shit, I
baby.
didn't know we were live.
We're live, baby. Yeah,
Shit.
we're on Twitch, homie.
What up, Reload? Oh shit, I thought you were supposed to record it. My bad.
Nah,
What's
man, we
up, King?
live,
Shouts to
baby.
all the DJs here, man.
Yeah,
Shouts to all the
I got the
DJs here.
stream right here. I mean, I know it's unfortunate because you can't really see the layout, but
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
can
if
see
you
it.
wanted
Yeah,
to see the
sure.
comments, you could totally pull it up. The comments will be right there. I have it on emotes only, just because I like to do this, but like I like it
Yeah,
so
for
that
sure.
it's emotes only, so that people can like show their little acknowledgement. But
Heck yeah.
it's a lesson in listening, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Yeah, for sure. Well, shout out to everyone on Twitch, man. Thanks for even
Yo,
tuning in. That's tight. So, so yeah, so that's when I started working at that record store in Radio Futura, and then that's when everything kind of like blossomed, man, from
and
there.
that's
Just
cool
because,
too that you got into that. Like again, another job that like coincides with the work. You know.
yeah, this was in 2000, and because I graduated high school, it's my age already, 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So I started working at the record store in 2000. I want to say four or five, one of those two. Um, yeah, man. I mean, from then, like, bro, like, I was in charge. I remember. Shout out to Leo, man. And then it was awesome. I was in charge of buying the records. I remember like all the 12 the imports, and you had a which songs would do well. Like it was cool, man. The whole experience, just being part of that record store, and actually, like I said, I go back. Like I'm so happy that I was in that era where like I said, yeah, like you would buy $1,000 worth of records in a month, and
Right.
like I said, you only make like $200 in DJing, but um, it was worth it to me. Like I am who I am because of that
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah. I
and
get
I
that.
still have all the records and stuff like that. But yeah, man, like and then from there I met a lot of DJs. Like that's where I be a lot of DJs from there, which shows I'm still friends with. Like my buddy, shouts to DJ E Kid, one of my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
I met him through there. That guy Tony Martinez that gave me my break over in nightclubs in Hollywood. I met him through there.
He was a DJ as well, or is he a promoter or something?
No, he was a DJ.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, he does really well too.
And so that
He
was
goes by Tony Martinez.
your first club gig, you're saying?
Yeah, because he would tell me come and hang out, because that's the thing too. Like you don't want to be so like give me a gig there. You know, at that point, I knew that I just didn't want to be like give me a gig there, like very like aggressive
Yeah.
and like, and I know it's sometimes tough to like I want to already be on top. Like I really want to fucking play at these big ass clubs. I want to do that shit already.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like to some of it, it's just doesn't work that way. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like eventually it will,
Yeah.
but so that the way I took it was I'm gonna go. I even asked him, Tony, you mind if I go hang out with you? Like go see what you do, because I was new to it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, come through. So I remember I would go, and I was just like amazed of the way. One of the things that I picked up from him, he was so open format, dude. I remember he would be dropping like Bob Marley, like just open, like completely open format.
The essence of open format.
Yeah, and he taught me that because there was a point where I was just playing all like hard house or all like house music, hard house, and but he was just and then so that was happening. We were bringing records, and then Serato came in '06, and I was completely against it. Like I was just like, nah, heck no.
You're an old head.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I'm good, dude, because like what happens, you're at a wedding, your laptop crashes? No, like, or at a club? Nah, I'm good. And then I saw I remember '06, I saw Mixmaster Mike fucking DJ.
Oh.
And so it was at this club called Scribbles in Diamond Bar.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, damn, this guy's good. And then I looked over, and I was like, he's using Serato. Like, bro, I have to get it.
Yeah.
Like, I have to. Like, what he can do, because, just, I have to get it.
Yeah.
So I remember at that point, it was '06, so I bought it. But I was using it, but when I was still gigging,
Yeah.
I would bring my records.
Right. Just in case.
Because I wasn't like 100% sure, you know what I mean? So I was always bringing like, whether it be like, because I would carry like 9 crates of records when I would gig, because, I don't know. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I remember Dolly, fucking lift and throw.
Yeah.
So then finally, at that point, the record store started kind of like going down in sales because people started kind of transitioning to Serato. Obviously, Serato, you don't need no more records. So little by little, we would buy like 80 or 70 units, meaning like records of like a single like LL Cool J Head Sprung. And so it went from like 70, 80 to like 20. and then from 20 went to like 10, from 10 went to like 3,
Yeah.
and then went to like 2, and
And
then
that's
that's
also
when
because CDs are like on the rise too.
exactly.
Yeah.
So then from there, that's when DJs little by little, and then finally Leo, the manager, which I'm still friends. He's a really close friend of mine. He was like, "Yo, Eddie, I can't afford you no more, dude. There's no more record store.
Mm.
There's not gonna be no more record store. Like we're gonna actually just close down." I was like, I was bummed out, but it's technology, and
Yeah.
it's crazy because where Radio Futura is at, if you guys don't know, it's where the old Vive was, Vive and Pomona.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because originally the Vive and Pomona, that was a post office, and
What?
so yeah, it was post office and us, then the Globe,
Oh
um,
shit.
and so
That was a post
Vive,
office downstairs?
no, upstairs.
Oh, upstairs.
Yeah, because now and then they built downstairs, but
Oh
upstairs,
yeah, okay, okay.
originally that was Vive. All that was Vive first,
Oh
and
yeah, I
then
remember when it was Viva, yeah.
yeah, and then it changed. Um, I think yeah, it changed to other names, but yeah, that was a post office. So
Oh.
it was crazy. When I would DJ at Vive, I'd be like, "Yo, this was actually the record store where I'm at right now," but it was Vive. Like it
Oh,
was
that's
kind of like
cool.
it
That
was,
yeah, that's a nostalgic feeling too, for sure.
yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, so I from then I started uh from there. What else? That was like 06, 07, and
Well,
then I started kind of doing more clubs.
I am curious too. So when are you like? Cause you're technical. You know, you know how to scratch and whatnot. So when is that? How early did that all that start?
Um, Back to Moses, DJ Release. When he taught me like the basics of just mixing,
Mm.
he was such a he still is such a scratch. Oh, he was so dope on the cuts, bro. One of the most
Oh,
like cleanest cuts, like. And I was always trying to mimic like what he would do. It wouldn't come out like that, but he would always teach me like,
well, that's
and it
sick
was
that he
just
was
all,
like, he was in that, cause that's kind of
oh,
niche
dude, he
too.
was
You know.
so dope. And you know what helped me too a lot? The fact that I was a drummer.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
I
and
used to play
cutting
that.
is
Yeah.
like is very
So
similar to
if you think about it, a
yeah.
drummer when you do fills like the tu- 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 tu-
Mm.
tu- psh, it's all scratching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all like the same kind of like
Yeah.
structure. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, like that. So,
I do. I
um,
do. I really do.
but
Teaching at the school,
I
that's usually what we tell people too. Like, it's most the instrument it's most similar to is a drum.
yeah, definitely, it's exactly. And so I'm glad that I have that background too as a drummer. I used to drum at our church. Um, shit, I was drumming when I was like five,
Bongos,
6 years
right?
old too. No, not bongos. The actually the drum set. And so, uh, thank God for the I got that background, the drum background too, just because it helps me a lot with when I think of patterns to scratch.
Yeah.
Um, I don't have a lot, but I just still think like in my head, like
Yeah.
that kind of that's in my head. So yeah, that's why I like learn the basics and just like I said, like anything, man, just practicing it.
Yeah.
Back then there was no YouTube videos, guys,
Yeah.
nothing like so we couldn't go like let's check out YouTube and see Cuber do a fucking crab. Like nah, it didn't. It wasn't like that. It was just all through like someone that scratches, go hear him and go be right there just next to him and learn.
Yeah. It's funny too
So
is that like I go do one like private lessons every once in a while with Rev. So usually Revolution.
yeah,
So
yeah, of course.
usually I'll usually see him like probably like every like 2 months or so because we'll do an assignment. Well, he'll put like some patterns out. I practice them, and I don't go back in till I feel like I have them down. Now,
Yeah,
I mean, if I had the money, I would see him every fucking week, but I don't got the money like that. So I'll go every like
yeah,
2 months, and it's good though because I hold myself accountable. I'm gonna do my shit.
sure.
I'm gonna practice it. Um,
Yeah,
but like something that he's always telling me and I don't do, I will openly admit. He's always like he's like, dude, you need to listen to like old records where there's DJs scratching on them and just listen to that so that you can like build up like the memory to like pretty much like go longer than a bar, like remembering it, cuz like usually that's kind of my problem is that he'll have patterns and they're like for like 2 bars or so, and it's like intricate patterns, and I'm just like
hmm
fuck, like I know how to do it, but I like as far as memory goes, I'm like falling off by like a bar or
yeah,
so, I'm just like fuck, what was the rest of the pattern? So that's what he's usually telling me, and it's just
Yeah.
kind of similar to what you're saying, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of tracks with the scratching like everlasting bass,
Yeah.
do 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 do, or like Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back. Like, but it's true what he said. That makes a lot of sense.
He'll tell me that
Um,
like to listen to them, and like I said, I don't really do that, but I mean, I'm still
yeah,
I'm progressing, but I'm sure, yeah, like maybe
yeah. You have cuts too, Wally.
that
You
would
have cuts,
be
Wally. Like,
you know,
yeah,
a way up to
yeah,
a
yeah, definitely.
catalyst for it, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's all practicing timing, man.
Right.
And don't I think that's why I tell other DJs like, um, don't try to like just do the basics first.
Mm-hmm.
Learn the basics, master that basic,
Yeah.
and then from there it will come like other little like routines
Mm-hmm.
and it will come to just master first the basics on like the scratches, and then eventually you'll get to pick the stabs, the flares, everything else. I mean, like
Do
I said, I'm not like a scratch DJ whatsoever.
yeah.
Like I just kind of like a little bit here and there just to kind of add a little bit more flavor
Right.
to the mix or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm no way, shape, or form like a turntablism at all. I'm still a student at it, like you know what I mean. And I love learning and I love seeing it. On like for example, DJ Ever, like that guy's a flipping beast on the cuts. Like, and when he does it, it's just so like it's like candy, bro. So sweet, like smooth
Yeah.
and
Butter.
it's super. So, oh, dude,
Yeah,
like like
and that's it's funny that
master.
you say that too, because that's exactly what Rev says. He's like, dude, I don't know shit about no auto bands, like Bob, like whatever,
Yeah,
dude. He's like, I'll tell you what though, whatever that fucking guy could do, I could fucking do that. Maybe it'll take me a couple seconds to figure out like what like the
but he'll
pattern
learn it.
is,
And I
but
got
he's like,
yeah,
but essentially, and that's true because everything is just a cut, it's just a stab, it's just a variation of it, like two stabs and
yeah,
then this or whatever, like which makes up an auto ban or which makes up whatever
yeah,
you're trying to do.
yeah. Doing it tastefully. That's key. Just very tasteful. Like, no, not overdoing it. And because a lot of DJs too, like there's DJs that, like for example, like an Ever, when he DJs at clubs, he doesn't go crazy on the cuts.
Hmm.
He'll do like something simple. So I think it's having also a balance when you do that, like
Definitely.
wordplay or scratching in the clubs, like because you don't want to like at the end of the day, people that go to clubs, they do not want to hear you scratching, bro. Just play the damn song.
Yeah.
Like they don't even want to hear you do wordplay, tone play, nothing like that. They just want to hear the song. Like it's all about programming, I think, in club.
Right.
But doing it tastefully is where it's at.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like a wordplay
Yeah,
here. Um, it's
your
exactly. It's like plugging a little
sprinkle,
salt. Like
and
yeah, bro.
that's usually like the like a metaphor and analogy that we usually say is that like mixing essentially, and that's what I try to tell people too, is like essentially mixing and the music selection, that's like your meat and potatoes, like that's the bottom line, and then yeah,
Exactly.
like if you could scratch, man, like that's the garnish, but focus on all that stuff like later, like make sure that your
Yeah,
mixing is good and make sure that like you create a good vibe, and then if you could do all that shit, like that's cool, like that's a
that'd
bonus,
be dope.
you know
Yeah, for sure. It's
but
all
if
yeah, and it's like
you could have a solid meal without that, and that's what I try to tell people, because a lot
absolutely.
of DJs get in their head, they're like, oh, I can't scratch, like I'm a no good DJ. It's like, nah, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's not about that.
yeah. To me, I think it's because I so I was when the clubs were open, I was in charge of booking all the talent over at Elevate Lounge in downtown LA,
Hmm.
and I would get demos all the time from DJs that wanted to be part of like the roster or wanted to play it as a guest DJ.
Hmm.
Excuse me. So I was like, yo, yeah, send me a mix, man. And I would listen to all of them, dude. There was always listen to all of them.
Hmm.
Um, and my whole thing is like, if you send something over, make sure that I don't care about scratching, wordplay, nothing like that. Just make sure your blends are clean, like your mixing's clean. I don't care about like, yeah, if you add the scratching that, yeah, it's super dope. But just make sure the blends are like just clean. That's all I ask for, just clean. And you'd be surprised. Like it's just that's why I tell all the DJs just work on the first before you start like wanting to learn how to scratch. And this is just my opinion. I mean,
Right,
others
of
can,
course, yeah.
but I'm just telling you, like, just try to master the mixing when you bring the song in, when you're fading it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Try to just master on that because that shows a lot when you're clean. Like, you
Hmm.
know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um, and that that's what I would look out for in when I would get demos. You know what I mean? Over
And it's
for
funny because
other.
that's an important lesson too that I learned on like early on through scratch is like um like Dynamics was my like first scratch instructor over there, and
Shout out to
I
Ellis.
remember like specifically, bro, um, like we had like an exercise. We were dropping like head sprung, so like they call me Big Alley, like that part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we looped the intro, and then we're like everybody's like trying to do their cuts, and I'm going crazy because I had my cuts down, but I didn't have my timing down. So I was like fucking going in, dog, like doing all my shit, and then I dropped it, and it was like completely off time, and I was like,
Okay.
fuck,
Yeah, it's all timing with
yeah,
scratching too, man. And yeah, it's completely all
because like
timing.
what does
And
it matter if you could do it if you're not gonna drop it on time?
it's timing,
Yeah,
timing. Yeah,
yeah.
especially there's those tracks that you like, that Drake track.
Uh,
Um,
I know,
you know what I'm
I
talking
know
about? Like,
it's
what comes in like,
the 100 BPM one.
yeah,
I
it's
don't know what it is though. And it's emotes only, or else I'd ask the chat for help.
yeah. I know it's the chat knows what I'm talking about, that or like,
It's the one that, I think
um,
it's like I mean, where the fuck do I
oh,
really even
God,
start? Right?
really,
Like it's
really
that one,
start
right?
that one.
Yeah.
That one, you'd be surprised of the DJs that don't throw it on beat. Because think about like how he's saying
Well,
it,
that's
like
a hard.
where it
I mean,
comes
it
in.
is kind of a hard one.
That's very tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah, very tough. Yeah, that one, and then I'm beautiful from Snoop. Oh, 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 oh.
See, that one is easy for me though. Like the Drake one is hard for me. Like I definitely have to
Yeah.
like sit there and listen and like,
Uh-huh.
But the Snoop
There's some
one is
other
easy
ones
for
that are,
me. Yeah.
yeah. There's some other ones that are challenging, but
Yeah, that's a
it's just
DJ
a matter
talk
of
right there.
practice.
That's a real
Yeah, yeah,
DJ talk right there, huh?
yeah, it's
I
definitely.
remember when my favorite DJ he did that as a challenge too. Did you? Well, that's like
Oh,
his tag,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. That guy's a beast too.
Conflict,
Jesus,
conflict.
conflict.
Yeah,
There you go. That guy's a beast in the clubs.
yeah. I
Ooh,
haven't seen him. I
that
wanted to
guy's
see him, but he
nasty.
doesn't come out to LA
Woo.
that much.
He's nasty on the club. The cuts, like the wordplay, like when the clubs go back open, that's a DJ you want to see, man.
I've been
That guy's so inspiring, and he does it tastefully. He doesn't overdo it,
right.
but it's just, dude, the guy's a beast. That shouts to conflict, man.
Shout out to
Like that
conflict,
guy,
man.
yeah, that guy's a monster.
All right,
He's
all
very
right, all
nice
right.
with
So
it.
let's roll it back. So now I mean, you're leaving. Pretty much, you're leaving the record store,
Yeah,
and how old are you around this time? Like when that's kind of going down.
I left it in I think it was '08, dude, '09 when we left it. Yeah, '08, '09, I left at the record store.
Okay.
It was sad, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because records, you know what I mean? So, and then at that point, after that record store, DJing full time, like there was
Nice.
I never, the last 9 to 5 job that I had, thank God, was and I mean, technically the record store, but I didn't look at a record store as a 9 to 5.
Right.
Like, come on, you know?
Yeah.
The last one was the tuck shop,
Mm.
prior tuck shop, like the tuxedo spot.
Right.
But I've never had a 9 to 5. Thank God, man. Like I was able to do this whole DJing thing and make a living off of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so,
And I was gonna ask that too,
and
so answer that right
yeah,
away.
that's what I've been. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, man, it's crazy to think that I haven't had a 9 to 5. It's still this day. I still don't. You know what I mean? So,
So it's
um,
possible, people. For those of you guys listening, it is
yeah, it
fucking
is.
possible.
It is possible, and I know life gets in the way, and there's
Pandemic
just
and there's pandemics.
yeah, but it's possible, man.
Yeah.
Like it's really possible. So yeah, so I just from then, like after that, I did a lot of touring. I DJ'd on one of my first out of town gigs, which I was scared as hell, was when I was 24. It was right after I finished the record store,
Mm-hmm.
24, 25. Shout to Mickey Ward. It was actually through Scratch on the Scratch School.
Scratch
I
events.
DJ'd these cruises.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
doing these.
I heard about that. I always wanted to do one.
Yeah, yeah. I did them for like 4 years, dude.
And you kind of
Um,
you like a because you didn't go to Scratch, right? So you just applied for like the events part or what?
yeah, I
Okay.
know the Mickey Ward, shouts to Mickey
Mm-hmm.
Ward, my good friend too. He referred me because they were
Oh.
looking for a bunch of DJs to go. So it was once it was one a year, and I did it for 4 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you get flown to New York, and from New York you sell to all the way you sell all the way to Puerto Rico, and then you come back. So
This is
that's
like
one
the
week. So you
carnival
come back to
carnival cruises,
so
right?
you yeah, yeah. So you leave like Sunday, and then you leave from New York, and then all the way to Puerto Rico, and then come back the next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They drop those people off, and then on to next week. So I did it for like 4 weeks. Um, Loved it. Loved every minute of it, man. The greatest experience. You meet people from everywhere, all over the whole entire world, bro.
Maybe.
Crazy.
Go ahead.
It was just crazy because just to see like what people liked and what was like, I used to love getting the requests because it was stuff that I didn't have, but I would write down on it. I would write them down because there was just like, there was records that I've never heard before, but and then I would download them and I'm like, yo, these records are dope.
Dude, I
Like,
think and again, like I have to highlight certain things, in the podcast, but I think that's, I don't know, man, that speaks a lot on behalf of your character, because I like to say that I'm very similar in that sense, that I don't really mind,
uh-huh.
because a lot of people, a lot of DJs especially, like, are like anti-request, like, no, bro, like,
Yeah,
fuck a request and all this stuff like that, and it's like, bro, for me personally, I just understand that it comes with the territory, and um
so,
and so, like, and then it's funny too to hear that you say that you had like an amazing time at the cruises, because I've heard the polar opposites. Like, I've talked to DJs about it, and they're
yeah, yeah,
like,
oh yeah, for sure.
dude, don't fucking. They're like, it's funny because they'll usually say like, oh, you got to try it, but it's probably the last time that you'll do it, because like the
Nah,
way that they phrased it, they would say that, and I kind of got this, and they were saying that they said, put it this way, they're like, it's like a nice prison, because you you get to enjoy the facility, but yet you can't like do everything you would like to its fullest extent. And and so just a little bit of breakdown for those of you who do not know, like, you are like rooming with staff, so you're not getting your own like fucking suite, am I right?
well, I got my own room,
Oh,
but
so
it was,
that's a little different. Yeah.
yeah. See, I got my own room because it was certain level on the ship where it was all like staff,
Uh-huh.
and there's certain people that bunk that were bunking beds. But I think they gave think all 4 years too, and I've heard that before. Some
Okay.
nightmares.
Okay.
Yeah, but I thank God, bro, I was on my own room, which is
Oh.
crazy. It's like you can take a shower, wash your hands, and then put your foot like by your bed. That's how like small they were.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was like they were very
But at
small, dude.
least
No
it
window.
was your own, like,
Yeah, my
quarters.
own. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got lucky. It's funny you brought that up because back then, uh, someone I forgot who told me, but they were like, "You didn't bunk with someone else?" I was like, "Nah, man, it was by myself." Oh, you're fucking lucky. You got your own space. So because yeah, the rooms for the people that would work on the ship, if you guys don't know, it was actually like in the bottom. So if you were to see anything, it'd be just water. It was on the bottom.
Yeah.
So dude, like bringing back on that, you'll be trying to fall asleep, and you hear the ship just kind of like,
Oh.
and bro, you thought it was gonna fucking just like even it was just crazy because there's no windows, so you can sleep. That's another thing too. Like you had to be on it, on your alarm because you don't know if it's day or night. So you have to make sure you wake up on time,
Yeah.
like, or else you'll miss your
You got
gig.
the blackout curtains all day, baby.
Hey, exactly, bro. It was crazy. Like, but like I said, I wouldn't do it again,
Right.
but I'm glad I did those, man, because it really like helped me out musically too, because I was able to learn so much more different like genres
Yeah,
of
man.
music,
I love that. I love that.
and then just meeting people, dude. And there's still people that I still talk to like on Facebook and stuff
Hmm.
that will say hi from the ship. And
Yeah.
you meet like from the cruise, you meet all kinds of people, bro. Like different backgrounds, different just. It was cool experiencing
And
that,
that's
and
I'm telling you,
yeah,
man,
man.
like that's a reflection of your character, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
thank
love
you,
to
brother.
hear that,
Yeah,
bro. That's
yeah, thank
cool,
you. So that from the ship, um, they would the only bad thing about it is I would lose a lot of gigs because I was out for a month.
Right.
And the way the whole DJ stuff works is like they'll hit you up, yo, Wally, can you DJ? Nah, bro, I'm out of town. All right, cool, next. So it's like it's I lost a lot of gigs
Right.
basically, and there was a lot of gigs that I was losing out in like L.A. area, you know what I mean, and like
Right.
in the nightclubs out there because I wasn't around. I
Right.
was in town. So but yeah, so I did that, and then I started touring a lot more than I went to. I was working for this company called Student City uh, during spring break, March.
Hmm.
I worked with them for like 4 years actually too, While that like the cruises, like I would work with them because the cruises normally were in May.
Right.
So with the spring break student city, I was working with them like 4 or 5 years straight every March
Mm-hmm.
for 3 weeks, bro. They would fly me out to Bahamas,
Oh,
Freeport, Bahamas,
let's go.
bro. Like everything paid for. Like
And
you were like
and how old are
treated
you in
like
this time? Like it's fucking beautiful. Like
I was 20. I was still 24, 25,
it's
23,
like
around
heaven,
there like
bro.
that.
It's
Yeah,
heaven.
yeah. I was,
And that's so good for you
it
too
was,
because traveling. I think that traveling is so like it's so important and it's so like character building. You know, like it makes
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah, for
appreciate a
sure.
lot of shit.
Yeah, man. And I mean, it's experience, and so that was cool because you're able to. It was all college students,
Mm-hmm.
so just you just kind of like just rage with them, and
Fuck.
it was a cool experience. And then you meet like the locals there, like the DJs that live there.
And
You vibe with them, and then it's
and
cool,
real
man.
quick, like to ask you too, like I mean, you're doing all this pretty young and like full transparency here. Like, do you think that like were you? I mean, I'm kind of surprised at like how on top of everything you were, considering like that's
Hmm.
like those areas of like success very early on are easy areas to fuck up. You know what I mean? Like to get smashed, to focus on the wrong things. You know?
Yeah, and that's one thing that was they were very like anal about, like, yo, don't like get fucked up, like because you're here for work, and
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you're there for work, and
Mm-hmm.
you're there to secure the bag, like you know what I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
don't mess it up, like,
And you
and so
understood that importance at that age or
yeah,
no?
yes, I
Okay.
did because I was because I've never been like I mean, I drink and I get drunk here and there, but I always kept my. I knew when it was the time, and I knew when Of course, there was times with the staff. They're like, "Hey, we're not working today, so let's go drink."
Mm-hmm.
That was cool, and you get drunk. But I knew to understand. I understood that, yo, when it's work, and that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
That's
the
good.
only time I would drink while I was DJing is if like the actual main guy, um, he would come and give me a drink, like, "Yo, drink up, bro."
Right.
Because they would tell you don't drink
Right.
which was fine. I was just the energy with those kids was amazing.
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, I was doing that. So I did that for like 4 years straight. Spring break every year, man. That shit was it was wild.
That's dope.
Um, and then from there,
And
where else would I
real
go?
quick with that too,
Uh-huh.
um, I just like to highlight that I like, I try to, or the podcast is very interesting in the sense that it's cool learning about DJs and learning about like what areas like that excites them about DJing because there's so many different avenues for DJing. Like there's Twitch DJing, there's tour DJing, there's fucking cruise DJing, there's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
club DJing. Like
yeah.
and in the beginning you might not know exactly what kind of DJ you want to be, but that's the beauty of like
Absolutely.
doing what you did, like trying out all
Hmm.
these things and you didn't know essentially that's not like like your intent behind it, but that is the beauty of doing a bunch of different gigs is that you
Yeah,
get your feet wet amongst all these things and then whatever you
yeah.
felt like you were good at or that you really liked, usually you get drawn to that and then
Hmm.
you focus in that area, you
And
know?
yeah, for sure. And I give props and respect to every DJ that's like he just sticks to like corporate, just sticks to uh, quinceañeras and weddings,
Mm-hmm.
more that like, or just sticks to all clubs.
Right.
And I give much credit to like those DJs. Like, I mean, they're killing it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like they're doing well. Like, and I was I was able to like do a kind of little bit of everything,
Yeah.
and I think I still am. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't focus just doing all like corporate events. You know what I mean?
Right.
Uh, because I still would do the clubs, and of course like the corporate stuff was paying a lot more.
Right.
But if you can make there was a if you're making in the club the same thing you're making in corporate, then you're doing well. Like
Yeah.
you're good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so um,
Yeah, that's
that
you're doing
was
great. You're
happening.
doing great. Let
Yeah,
that be known. You're doing great. If you're making
yeah,
as much
that's
as
what,
you are making at a corporate gig, that says a lot because that's hard.
yeah, no, definitely. And so that's what kind of was happening. So I kind of let go a lot of like the corporate stuff, and I was just sticking with like the clubs, out of town stuff
Right.
that I was going a lot more. You know what I mean? So a lot more where I was going
And
like,
I mean, depend. I mean, this is very subjective, but I would say typically it's more fun to do like the club stuff as opposed to like the corporate because the corporate's kind of uptight. You know, like you got to come correct. You got to
Yeah, you
look
gotta be.
professional. You
Yeah.
got to no
Mm.
fucking swear words. You know, in your music, you got to like
Yeah,
you
you
know
gotta be.
it could get
Yeah,
a little like you know.
yeah, and yeah. So that's why I'm happy that I was able to kind of dabble in everything. You know what I mean? So and I still am. Like I said, like I don't let go of like any corporate events or anything like in that. And so whatever whatever comes right now. Obviously, the only thing we have right now as DJs is the Twitch.
Right.
And I know there's DJs actually right now that are doing corporate events, but for the most part of us, like the a majority of us are doing just Twitch,
Right.
and which is the closest thing to like
To
to a club
yeah.
and to a bar, whatever.
I was gonna ask too. So, you know, how did the DJ City thing come about? So is
Oh
that
shit. Okay. So damn, nostalgia feeling again. So back to Mickey Ward,
hmm
right?
yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Back to when I started doing the clubs out here in the IE. Shout out to my guy Adam. They call him Big Pun. You know
Yeah, I
Adam,
know
Big
Adam.
Pun?
Yeah, I know Adam.
Contreras?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He has
See,
the matter of fact, shout out to Adam and he has the new business, right?
oh, the C-Max.
He does
Yeah, the
the
wash, right?
garbage can cleaning thing.
Yeah, the garbage.
hmm
Yeah, the bins. Yeah, definitely. He he really took me under his wing, dude, because he saw me in high school when I was DJing like senior year. He was like, "Yo, dude, like, I know people. You're a DJ. Like, let's work together." So
hmm
he took me under his wing, like, so he would get me at parties.
hmm
He would sell me like, "Yo, Eddieboy, get him, bro. I'll bring all these people if you book Eddieboy."
hmm
And people are like, "All right, let's do it." So that's how I got like a lot of my name and I broke a lot of like like people asking like, "Yo, who's this Eddieboy guy?" And it was because of Adam because
Yeah.
he would bring like a solid minimum of 50 to 100 people, bro, with him to party. And so the promoter or the manager was like, "Yeah, bring them,
Yeah.
shit."
Yeah. Sign me up,
So then
dude.
exactly. So then eventually, like we started working more and more. He got me in clubs. He got me like in Pasadena.
hmm
Um, and then eventually, I told him, "Yo, Adam, I want to start a like a roster, bro, like a management company, a DJs. What do you think?" This was a time we were at Toro Sushi. He was doing the promoting there.
hmm
What do you think? And I was like, "Yo, let's do it." He goes, "Who should we get?" And I was like, "Well, let's start small." I was like, "Let's get DJ Release, which is a guy that remember I was telling you he was teaching me the basics on mixing and he was dope on
Right.
scratching."
Right. Right.
We got him, we got E Kid, and then it was just us three. And so then we saw there was this one time there was this girl that was DJing at Toro, and I was like, "Dude, she's dope, dude."
hmm
And it was VTech
Oh, cool.
from Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was like, "You want to hit her up?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's hit her up." So we hit her. I was like, "Yo, V, you want to be part?" She's like, "Dude, yeah, let's do it." So it was us. And so Adam was actually booking us in Pasadena. He was booking us like at in Orange County, like Pasadena, Palm Springs. We did a lot of Palm Springs stuff. Like he was just booking us.
Damn.
So then like we should get Mickey Ward because Mickey at the time was also starring because he's also a fellow Scratch. He went to the Scratch
Yeah.
Academy
Yeah.
school too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
we brought
that is before my time, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he did, and so did Danger, I think.
there you go with the old jokes, man. You got to stop that, bro.
Hey, I started Scratch at like 2009. I think they were there like 2001 or like six or something. Now before six too.
So funny,
Hey,
man.
bro. Hey, at least I'm I'm PC with it. I ain't never like said it directly.
Just give I'm giving you a hard time,
He's like,
bro.
give it to me straight, bro. If you think I'm old, just fucking say it already, dude. Honestly, I don't know. I honestly thought you were like 32.
No,
I don't know how old you are.
no, yeah, I'm 37.
Oh, okay. So I didn't even know
Yeah, I'm
that.
37. So yeah, so I'm pretty old, man.
Hey,
So
you're still killing it though, bro. You killing it out
thank
there.
you, bro. Thank you,
And
man.
you don't even,
Thank you so
like I
much.
said, honestly, I think it wouldn't be the first time you heard this, but you don't even look like you're 37. Like nobody
Thanks,
automatically
man.
thinks that.
Yeah, I think people have been saying like the whole baby face
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Hey, it's a good thing.
So
Ride that shit out. Ride that shit
yeah,
out, bro.
shout shout to my parents for the genetics.
Shout out to the folks.
That's right. So eventually, we got Mickey War in it, and then from Mickey, then we got Kidspin.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Kid Spin. And then from there, dude, it was called. We thought of the name, and it was called Project Spin Artists. And we were like, kind of like getting people like, who's this Project Spin Art? It was called PSA,
Yeah.
Project Spin Artists,
Yeah.
dude. So we started getting like a little, momentum, like getting booked here
Yeah.
and there. Like it was dope. Like we were being consistent. All of us were working.
Yeah, that sounds dope. And
And
that's
then
a good
finally,
team, by the way. Like, I know those
yeah,
guys are. I was like, that's a solid team.
yeah. So then we were like killing that. We're doing well. And so Adam was like, yo, um, let's bring some more. And then then we got Kid Spin. Then we got Styles Davis from DJ City.
Right.
Then we got Chris Villa.
Oh, shit.
Then we got Jay Spinoza.
You guys
Then we got
did? What
Yeah,
the
then we got
fuck?
DJ Dynamics from San Diego. Dynamic, I'm sorry. Dynamic
Dynamic.
from San
Yeah.
Diego.
Dynamic, right.
Then we had Kid Conrad from Vegas.
Wait, how recent is this?
This was in oh no, I'm sorry, not 2000 and 2009, 8,
So, damn, that's crazy though that
like 12 years ago, maybe 10, no, 10 to 12 years ago.
so to me that's really crazy that you had like Via and Espinoza because
Yeah.
like they weren't like I don't know because that's like barely when I started DJing. So
Yeah, I think you were like maybe like a year old or 2 years old or something when that happened.
hey, so correct me if I'm wrong though. Were they notable names or how's that?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
yeah, for sure they were.
like
Yeah,
10 years
I
ago
mean,
though.
yeah, yeah,
So
no, for sure they
so
were. I
so
mean,
so
of course, Espinosa didn't have the Red Bull stuff yet.
okay, so look at though.
That
Wait,
that
wait.
wasn't
So
happening.
again, another little highlighted moment. Like if this shit was spark notes for everybody, like I like to get these moments across. So, because so often people think that these people, they were fucking overnight success people, and it's not that case. Here is the like you validating that whole notion.
Yeah, yeah,
The fact that, dude, you were hitting them up 10 years ago and they were good 10 years ago. And
yeah,
so let that sink in for those who like idolize these people and understand like, hey, this shit takes time.
yeah.
Yeah, they have been good for 10 years, but guess what? Like
Mm,
you barely started hearing about them probably within the last 5 years. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I mean, I just mean that in the sense of like the general public. Like now, if you're in the DJ game and you're in the DJ realm and
yeah. You don't know for a minute.
you're definitely more conscious of DJs. But like I said, I like to highlight shit like that because too often people think like, oh man, I want to be that. Like we were talking about earlier, like I want to be that,
Mhm.
and you think it's just gonna happen. And like, nah, bro, like
Yeah, no,
you gotta
yeah,
put
for
those
sure.
fucking
It
hours
takes
in.
time.
It takes time.
You got to put in your time, man, to do it. So yeah, we had them. I'm trying to think if I'm missing
And you
anyone else.
guys
But
like
we had a
you had them because you seen them, or like I'm curious, like were you like the scout for all this, or like it's just like a mixture of all you guys, kind of like, oh, this guy's pretty cool, like let's get this guy.
no.
Whatever.
It was a mixture of me. Yeah, I had a lot to do with it because I'm the one that kind of like me and Adam were the ones that kind of started
Right,
it,
right.
and then Mickey also kind of came in and helped us out with it because Mickey had relationships with like Kid Spin because at the time he was already working with DJ City.
Mm,
Mickey was affiliated with him
right.
with them, and so that's how and we just reached out. We reached out to like Spinoza, and yeah, there was a solid like 15 of us. So we were like, yo, like, because at the time, Scam still was like, Vice was still in Scam. Like, Scam was like, it still is, like, they're like on
For
top.
sure.
So we were just kind of like grabbing people's attention, like, yo, who's this PSA
That's
shit? Like,
tight.
what's going
That's
on?
tight.
And we had our squad was like crazy solid.
Yeah.
Like, we were fucking. So we signed contracts, bro. We had our like, our little like, kind of like a grand opening, kind of show the world what PSA is all about, kind of thing.
Right.
And then we got gigs here and there, but it started, I think, becoming too much. And then the whole management aspect of it wasn't kind of connecting the dots.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just there was just so much. There was a
Right.
lot of talent on it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So eventually, kind of like we just kind of decided to like just kind of let it go in a sense.
Right.
And then and there was no hard feelings, no like, yeah, you, like, no, I'm not nothing. Like, we all still have, relationships with one another
Right.
and so forth. And then yeah, so everybody kind of just went their own way, kind of thing. You
Right.
know what I mean? We
Right.
just kind of let it go,
Well,
and
real
yeah,
quick
we
with
just
that, just because I mean I know that would be a whole conversation as far as like how all that went. But
uh,
what are some highlights of that, like for you, like maybe like learning lessons or just maybe advice if anybody was gonna do that? What are some like
uh,
some key like little things that you could like bullet point from that experience?
I mean, from my experience from there is that if you want to join like some sort of like a management team, just make sure, like, I don't know, everyone's different, but make sure there's companies that actually will have you paying like a retainer, like a monthly retainer,
Mm-hmm.
just to use. They're gonna get you gigs, and there's actually management companies that the gigs that you have right now, they might want to take some sort of like portion off of it,
Right.
just because you're using now that name.
Mm-hmm.
Not all companies. I'm not saying that,
Right.
but
Right.
I'm
Right.
just saying, like, it's everyone's different,
Right.
but those are the kind of thing. Someone once told me, was like, yo, if you are killing it and booking your own self, you're traveling, you're just like consistent every week, you're getting 3 to 5 gigs a week, and you're just killing it, traveling everywhere. Why do you need a management company?
Right.
You're doing fine. You're killing it.
Right. Yeah.
But then there's like, obviously, management companies, they do help out. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I've
So
heard that, and I think the breakdown too is with conflict. He's broken it down in that pretty much exactly what you said. But so he
uh-huh.
says the only time that you would need a management company is when it becomes too much. So when it's a point where you're like
If you can handle it,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
If you can handle it your own self, stay there, guys. Like, don't get the money all comes to you. Stay there. But if there's a point where you're just like, holy shit, I missed this call because I'm on this call, and then
yeah,
holy shit,
yeah,
like, I'm on tour, and I'm on tour in fucking Japan, and someone from Florida's hitting me up. They
yeah,
wanted me to do like a spring tour.
yeah.
Okay, there you
There
go.
you go.
Then it's time to kind of
Yeah,
see what you do, and see your
and it
choices and
makes
your
sense.
options
Yeah,
fits you.
cool.
Do it that. Don't do it like, like, if you can maintain yourself, you only have like 2 gigs a week,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just stick it to yourself,
Yeah,
dude, and just
and
do you.
with that too, that's an important lesson that we teach at the school too, because pretty much we have students like build out a website, stuff like we try to tell them to do as much as they can, because guess what, like when you start to not wanting to do this, then you're just gonna have to pay for it, and that's more money out of your pocket. So I mean,
Exactly.
if you're capable and you can do it, then chances are you want to do it. So like same thing with all this
Yeah.
shit. Like Photoshop is not my favorite thing, but I mean, I realized how important it was. So guess what? I got acquainted with the shit. You know?
There you Yeah, that's another thing too. That's another subject we could talk about
Yeah, but
about trying to like hustle. Yeah, definitely, to keep on the hustle, even though like you're DJing, but if you could do Photoshop too and help and charge for doing flyers for your buddies or other people, like,
right.
why not? Like, you know what I mean? Learn it. Like, it's easy. YouTube is everything, bro.
Yeah,
Teaches you everything.
yeah.
If you need to know the basics for Photoshop, type in Photoshop basics. You'll learn the basics, and then you continue growing. Like,
Right.
it's there. So, but yeah, that's what the whole thing with the management. Like,
Okay.
obviously they take a percentage off. Like, if you make $100, I'm just giving you like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
$100. They take like, it could go anywhere between like 12 to like 25%
Mm-hmm.
of how much you make. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it makes more sense when you're doing like $1,000 gigs. You know what I
Right.
mean? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but like I said, like you said earlier, conflict said, it was, if you're busy and can't handle it, then yeah. But if you're just, and of course, I think people too want to, like, DJs want to do it just also too because of the name. Like,
Right.
if you have that name behind you, like,
Right.
oh shit, you know what I mean? So yeah, I understand that part too.
Right. Right.
But at the end
But
of the day,
that's
like,
your
it's the
advice.
money.
That's your advice.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. So, but yeah, that's what I got with the management company with when I was with PSA. Like, they were getting me, and then after that, even Adam still continued getting me gigs.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, like I said, we all kind of went our
Separate ways.
different
Yeah.
routes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're all doing well. Like, most of us are doing like still consistent within the club gigs and and in the game, So from there, back to your original question, was DJ
Right.
City. So then from there, I became really friends with Kid Spin.
Mm-hmm.
Really became really good friends with Kid Spin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that guy is a genius,
Mhm.
a complete genius. That guy. He he still is a music director over at DJ City. Um, and he knew that I was a big fan of tribal house, Latin house, all the drum shit. You know, that's
Right.
my like I love that shit.
Right.
So he would tell me, I would send him the tracks, just be like, "Yo, Spin, check this out. Let me see if it works for DJ City." And then one day he hit me. I was like, "Yo, dude, you wanna work for us? Like, of finding music for us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah! Like, heck yeah!"
Yeah. Like I'm already
So
doing it. Why not get paid?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So he was like, "Okay, let me talk to Quickie, the owner, the
Right. I've heard
president
his
over at
name
DJ City."
ring
Yeah,
throughout.
so Quickie, and then
Actually, I think I met him
then
too.
I
That's probably
uh
something. I don't know where though, but I know I met
yeah,
him.
because well, with the scratch and all that
I know I
kind of
met
like
him. Yeah.
yeah, he used to have a record store called Rehab, I believe, in LA.
Oh well, that's
And
well. Rehab is where Scratch is.
exactly.
But
That's where
I'm saying
they
like
sit.
I met Quickie somewhere like kind of random, and it was like oh like he did, and he was like real like quiet about it, and
Very
and
quiet.
then and
Yeah,
then he was like oh yeah like I'm Quickie blah
yeah,
blah, and then I was like
yeah,
I kind of like because it's just how I am. I'm like all like nosy and I like to talk to people. So I was like hey blah
yeah,
blah, and then he's like oh yeah, and then it came out that he's like part owner of DJ City. I was like oh cool.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, so so eventually that happened for a couple years. I was just sending Spin stuff,
Right.
and then finally there was an opportunity. He was like, "Yo, bro, there's actually a bigger job um, if you want to take it."
Mm-hmm.
And so basically now what I do for DJ City, I told him, yeah. So what I do with DJ City, um, it's myself and Smirk that work close together with the record reps. They send us the music,
Mm-hmm.
send us, me Kid Spin too, the music, and what we do, we process them. So basically, what I do is I grab we grab the tracks, make sure they're clean, make sure they're dirty. If it needs an intro, if it needs a hype edit, if it needs a short edit,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we add the tags on Serato, and then we put that on the back end of the site, which allows DJs to download. So we're the ones I'm actually the one that's putting the music on the site.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in charge of that with DJ City, and I'm also too with DJ City. We have this thing called playlist.
Mm-hmm.
They were called trends before, but we had an update, and it's called playlist now. Which I grab all like the biggest records uh, at the moment, and it's all like trap, twerk, house, big room, East Coast, West Coast, South hip hop, Latin, Afro beats, dancehall stuff. So I grab all those tracks, the biggest tracks, and I put them on the site.
Right.
So that's what I'm in charge of. So yeah, I've been working with them since then, man, and
Hey,
I love working there.
with that,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think that this is a big idea, and I'm potentially gonna just throw it out there for whoever's listening. But since I have you on the phone, I mean, well, on the phone, since we're talking,
Yeah,
I did have this idea, and I was trying to get it out of Daz, but I don't think she wasn't purely understanding what I was like telling her. But
yeah.
what I was saying is like, I it would, and I don't know if you have access to this, but like it would be very interesting or very like very very beneficial, I think, if imagine if you had like and like I said, I don't know if you have it, but so imagine if you had like access to like the data of like let's say the data of Spotify's like pretty much what they're collecting, because I know that the Spotify collects, right? They collect information or
Mm,
whatever, right? So let's just say though, let's say that like in Southern California, from ages like 12 to 20, the
uh-huh.
the average like the song that is most played amongst all those that certain age demographic is
Uh-huh.
um in my feelings. Let's just as example, right? That's
Uh-huh.
the kind of information that I think would be like super, super
Well,
huge. What's that?
that information is given to me. Yeah, that information is given to me when I do playlist.
And
Yeah, so we have access to that, like on the analytics.
yes,
We have all access to that stuff.
right.
So I'm given that information. That's why I put those tracks on the playlist.
Yeah.
That way, it's they're actually playlists that people are actually downloading, and they'll let break us down to like age group
But
and you know. So
but you guys on your playlist, that's cool. But I think you have it on like, or you can, again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but
uh
is that, it's not by region though, right? It's just by like universal, right? It's like all the
it's
U.S. or
universal,
whatever.
yeah.
Is
Yeah,
is
it's
it all
universal.
U.S. or is it? I don't know if you could
No,
say
it's
that.
UK, Japan,
Okay.
um,
See, because
Germany.
I think it would be really cool if it was like very kind of specific, because it is the music. It would pretty much like, it would be so much more beneficial if it was like, that like specific to, let's just say,
Yeah,
for instance, like a mobile DJ. Like, I'm gonna do this school gig in fucking Rancho Cucamonga, and
yeah.
it would be cool if I knew what, according to analytics, what that region like was most popular, because that, as you know, I know you know this, but like that information would be very different than like, New York's playlist. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, then that's why we have well, that's why we have the playlist. So like the playlist is breaking broken down as West Coast hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
Southern hip hop,
Yeah.
and then East Coast hip hop too. And now, so that's what we have right now on the site. And then below that we have Japan, UK,
But that's not differentiated,
and
but
then
between
Germany.
age though.
No, it's not.
But
No,
you get what
I
I'm
mean
saying,
we just
right?
take back the, yeah, I know what you're saying. So now that, then that's another story because now we have Beat Source.
Yes.
So what exactly what you're saying is exactly what's happening with Beat Source right now.
Mm.
It's basically this is what you're saying. Wally, I'm gonna book you in Bahamas, and they're crazy about Afro beats over there, bro. Let's say you, I'm just saying, let's say you don't have no like,
Right. Right.
what's Afro
For
beats? I don't have
example,
Afro
yeah.
beats,
For example.
for example. With Beat Source, if you have that program, it basically it's all playlist. So, but there's different like DJs that are playing over there that they're making their own playlist of what they played over there.
Mm.
Which basically you just click on it, um, and it just all that whole playlist drops onto your Serato, and you're on the go.
So what's like the incentive for a DJ to do that though?
I
Like,
think it's
oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead, keep on
Oh,
going.
and I was just gonna ask, like, what is the incentive for a DJ to do that? Because, especially in this day and age, like, well, not actually, not particular to this day and age, but there are a lot of DJs that are very private with that information. Like,
That's
they're
true.
not all they're not all like you and I, like, yeah, bro, you can
Hmm.
fucking you can have it all. They don't have that confidence where, like, you're not gonna play like me, blah blah. There's a
Uh-huh.
lot of DJs that are like, nah, bro, like, these shits is my cuts, like, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. There's certain. I mean, there's certain tracks too that with you too. You have some certain tracks that are like, let me stick with these for a little bit. I'm not gonna really put them out. You know what I
I'll
mean?
put it
But I
all
mean, for the
out, bro.
most
I'll
part,
put it all out. I don't really
yeah,
care.
yeah. Yeah. That's the way with the whole beat tours. That's the way it works. Like we have different like DJs from different regions that are giving us what's being played and what's hot out there.
Right.
Of course, right now it's tough because we don't know, no one's open kind of thing.
Right.
The majority of the world's not open with the whole club stuff, but yeah, that's what they have. That's what Beat Source is all about. That's what's going to end up happening.
But then, so then, can you answer that question as far as like, is there an incentive, or that's just like the DJs are just throwing up a playlist and then
It's I mean, I don't know exactly too much of it,
okay,
the behind of it, but yeah, it's just basically just like throwing up
right,
throwing up a list
right.
of what it is.
I mean,
You know
so
what I
because
mean?
it could be as
Um,
simple as just a recognition thing, and I mean that does go a long way.
yeah, no, their picture shows
Yeah.
up. You're right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Their picture will be like Wally's top 10 in
Right.
Bahamas. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and it pops up on BeatSource.
Right.
Like you
So
have
so
your own
that is,
playlist
yeah,
kind of
that
thing.
is
You
a
know what I mean?
form of,
So that would be the incentive.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's still like we're still kind of like working on it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean the streaming is the future now. So that's where it's that's another conversation we can have on that.
Right. No.
But back to and that's basically what I working with DJC. So that's basically what I do since. So I've been working with them since then,
Mm.
and yeah, man, we're still riding, we're still working.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it's fun, dude. It's cool because you just get to hear shit that's coming out. That you feel like, oh shit, this is our record. If like if I hear something, I'm like, yo, this is dope. I'll like drop it on my stream,
Yeah.
just to put it out to like, yo, guys, this record like just came out. Like this shit's hot. Like be on the lookout.
And
So I like to make records like that.
yeah, and that's dope too. That's something that I realized really quickly from like scratch. Is that like the money, like full transparency. I've always said this, but it's like it's not like nothing amazing at scratch, like money wise. But I did understand the trade off, like the networking, the exposure to all these other like new DJs that potentially like, a lot of times, a lot of those DJs that are early off, like they'll be like, hey man, like, would you ever be interested in coming out and just kind of like, being my guardian angel or whatever? And,
Hmm.
that's all very beneficial too. Like, that is something that, I don't say if you're gonna say, I don't know if the word is monetize off of it, but like, you can definitely like kind of capitalize off that. And also the
Hmm.
fact that, we're teaching these classes with 10 students, and for every 10 students, they have 10 songs of their own that they're going to mix. So, potentially you're hearing like 100 songs, whatever. Um, every time you do a class, and all these songs, you might know 90 of them, but, the 10 that you don't, like, that's potential to like incorporate and like, capitalize off that and like in your own set, like the
Yeah.
music that I didn't know. I'm like, oh, cool. So, I seen the value of that like right away, and like, oh, these kids or students are keeping me young, like they're
Hmm.
keeping my crates fresh. Like not only am I digging on my own, but also because there's new potential here. Like, cool. I'm growing as a DJ myself.
Yeah, you gotta definitely be open with just all kinds of genre. Like that's why, like with my on my Twitch streams, like I love that platform just because it took me away from working 3 to 4 nights out of the week in clubs and playing like the same records.
Yeah.
So I love doing it. Don't get me wrong. I never took it for granted,
Right.
like DJing at all,
Yes.
because but I literally with Twitch, man. I know there's a lot of DJs that can relate to this, but I literally fell in love with DJing again with Twitch.
Yeah.
And the reason why I fell in love with Twitch was because you do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You're not there to cater to anyone. Like you're not there to cater to the bottle poppers. You're not there to cater to the girls. You're not there to cater to like anyone. You do you.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing I give my one of my good friends Concrete a lot of like respect because when I started Twitch,
Shout out to Concrete. He's been on the podcast.
yeah. Oh yeah, oh dope. Yeah, that guy's a machine too, man. He told me when I first started, you start with like five, three,
Mm-hmm.
2, 1 viewers. It's so I would start with like 5 or 8, and then because I was playing what I wanted, and then all of a sudden they drop to like 1 or 2, and then I'd be like, ah, here goes the Bad Bunny track. Here goes Blow the Whistle. Here goes Get Low. Safe Records.
Yeah.
So they would stay, or some will come in because I was playing those records. But Concrete told me and made me realize he's like, yo, dude, look, do you want to play those records? Like, stop playing it safe. Even if you're playing shit that you like, keep on playing that shit, dude. The viewers are gonna come. Don't like get discouraged and be like, oh, let me play this fucking Be Faithful. Let me play the new Bad Bunny, or like, let me just play it safe. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because you know those records are gonna keep those viewers there, or people are gonna start coming in because they know those records.
Right.
No, bro, like do you.
Yeah.
People, if they fuck with you, if they like you, if they like your personality, your character, they're gonna love what anything you play.
Right.
So that's why, like it was hard for me in the beginning because it's like discouraging. Any DJ
For
can
sure.
understand. Like in the beginning, it's like fucking damn, bro. I only have fucking one people looking at one or two over here.
You're like,
Like
and that's my own phone because it has the chat on it.
exactly. Oh my god, bro. Exactly. So then I'll be like, man, like I'm not gonna play this flip that I got from Cassie, me and you,
Yeah.
because you know what I mean. Like so now, thankfully, man, like because of that advice he gave me,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, all right, cool. I'm gonna do me. So that's why like Tuesdays and Fridays, it's all like vibey shit,
Mm-hmm.
like flips
Mm-hmm.
and remixes and edits of what I find. I dig a lot, bro.
Right.
Because the thing is my Twitch, I love when the DJ's like, yo, bro, what track was that you played like after fucking Too Short?
Yeah.
Hey, I tried Shazam it, but fucking didn't pick up. What track was that?
Yeah.
I love that because like I love that shit, dude. Because I'm doing my job because they
Yeah.
want that track.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of digging, man.
Yeah.
I really I put a lot of work into my shit,
Yeah.
like into like what I put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not every stream I do is prepared.
Yeah.
There's streams like Tuesdays and Fridays. Um, I download a bunch of shit the day before,
Yeah.
and I play those records on there. I showcase them. I
Yeah.
break those
Yeah. Yeah.
records. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's where to you're just putting the cue point on those records.
Right.
Like that's how new they are.
Yeah.
They have no cue. You know what I mean? They have no cue points, and that's what I like to do: break records. Like
Yeah.
and and when you do that, like it shows on your streams.
Yeah.
Like oh fuck, like this was playing like this on my Saturday shows on Twitch. Like
Shit
I'm a little
show.
bit more open. Yeah, show Saturdays, exactly, legendary. And so I play a little bit more notice shit. Like I'm a little bit more up tempo.
Mm-hmm.
And tracks that and you're like, oh shit, okay, I know this track.
Right.
I just have more fun, more like not fun, but just more. It's more like known music, like it's like a little bit more commercialized.
Right. Right.
And so, but I keep my Tuesdays and Fridays like that, very vibey,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like that's just who I am, and that's what made me fall in love with music again, man. That was able to play, not playing the same old. I don't ask me the last time I downloaded the new hip hop. I don't have I why because not that I don't like it, but I don't like playing that shit on Twitch. That's me personally.
Yeah.
That's me personally.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
what I.
And I get that. I get that whole sentiment because essentially that's what like created the podcast. Like that was kind of the essence of the podcast, is that I wanted it was two parts. It was like, and this is before I created the podcast, before COVID. So initially it would be like, normally if you were on the actual, like, this is a new form of it, but initially it would be you doing a 30-minute live set and then us doing the interview portion or the podcast portion. And for me, I mean, for one, I just wanted to really wanted to let the DJ to express themselves, I should say. Just do whatever you want to do, and and it's cool because a lot of times you don't get to see a DJ in that light. You would have no idea that some DJs like fucking tribal house. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you go out and see them a lot, and then you're like, oh, they often play like at least one of these tracks every time. So maybe like that's like their little sprinkle, But with the podcast, like the 30-minute set, it was like, yo, just fucking go nuts, do whatever you want. And we'll talk about it. And then a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, like, because of how I am, a little bit of that part is kind of like validity, because I think some people they want that, like, especially as a DJ, like, you're like, oh, why should I listen to this guy? Who's this guy? So it's like, like, yo, you heard the mix, that this person is like about their shit, so now listen to what they got to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's, like I said, that's just how it worked, and how it kind of came about. But yeah, I definitely have realized that with Twitch. And I have theme nights because I genuinely enjoy those. I genuinely enjoy, like, like I do an R&B night. I do like a World Rhythms party, which is essentially like just a bunch of like Afro beats and like reggaeton and flips, and that's my way of doing that. And then my Thursdays, though, I will say that my Thursdays, as of last week, my Thursdays got really fun because, like, I think the weeks prior, I was in that same kind of box that you were talking about, like, where I was kind of like playing, because the whole theme of Thursday night is like PG-13 music, like pretty much like music that's like good, like family fun. And I think that when I started it, I was doing like essentially like a TikTok playlist or like top 40 playlist, and last Thursday, as of last Thursday, I really let loose. And I mean, it was all still clean music, but I just didn't care if it was top 40 or not. It's like, yo, if this is the question, is this a good song? Does it mix well with this song? Then let's play it. That's it. That's what it.
Yeah.
That's what it was as of
Yeah.
last week Thursday, and that like kind of like what you're saying, like kind of sparked you up, and that's what sparked me up. It's like, oh, cool. Like this is what my Thursday should be. Like it can be clean music, and I can still have fun with it, but it just needs to be like just let loose. Like, and that's something that I learned as of last week.
For sure. Yeah, no, definitely letting loose and then just playing what you want at the end of the day. Don't you know what I mean? It's playing what you want, and if playing all house music is what you want to do it.
Yeah.
Like even if you have 10, 15 people watching you, do it. Eventually the people will come, but just do it and put your passion into it. Like search for new records, new bootlegs, new edits. Like, you know what I'm saying? Be like excited to fucking perform on Twitch again.
Right.
Like the next day,
and
like that's what it's all about. You know what I mean?
Again,
so,
I got to shout out Gravity. He's hosting the stream. If you're hosting it, I'll give a shout out. I like following. I appreciate you, of course, but we got to keep the podcast going. But for the host,
what up, Gravity?
Gotta give a shout out to the host for sure. Appreciate that.
Go, man. Yeah, so that's what it is, man. I feel like that's with Twitch. It's just doing you, man. At the end of the day, like doing you and what makes you happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like I said, it's the only thing we have right now to some of us with DJing.
Yeah.
So have fun with it.
Yeah,
like,
and in my early like episodes of talking about the podcast, I think probably the one with me and John B first talking about Twitch and stuff. I was very
that guy's a machine too.
I love John B, dude. He's awesome.
Oh, that
awesome
John,
person.
that guy's.
Shout out to. As a matter of fact, he's. I don't know if he's still in here, but he was in here. So shout out to John B, man.
His sets, bro. His funk sets are crazy dope.
That guy.
He's
deep.
Playing, yeah, he's playing those records. We have funk records as DJs, but this guy has like, yo, what the like. Every time I hear him, dude, I'm shazamming for sure. Like, because he has
he's deep. His
really
his archives are deep in those particular areas for sure.
And his print sets, oh, bro, this guy, he's a print sets. He plays all the print set, like it's super dope.
But I was saying too that like, well, actually on Sunday he did, or just yesterday he did the Keith Sweat set, and that was cool too. I knew he was gonna like take us.
Did you ever
catch a little journey? What's that?
Did you ever catch his Halloween one?
Catch his Halloween set?
Yeah, he
back when he was Macho Man.
Oh my God, bro.
He's always Macho Man, bro. He loves fucking Macho Man.
Bro, that was genius.
Dude, he went to the do-over dressed as Macho Man one time.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, bro. And like it's funny because I'm over here all drunk and like partying and shit. And I turn around and John B's like right there, all like in full regalia, like just fully fucking y todo and shit. And I was like, John, is that you? He's like, what's up, man? It's Macho Man.
What's up, brother?
Yeah. He gave me like the whole spiel. I was dying, bro.
Yeah,
hey, shout out to Mars hosting it. Thank you, Mars. Appreciate you, bro. Love you.
Yeah. So, what were you saying, bro? Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I was just talking about how rigid I was. Kind of like I had this very like constructed idea of what your Twitch should be, and then talking to I know who it was. I was talking to Beneficial, and Beneficial.
Oh yeah,
Beneficial was telling me he pretty much highlighted the point of this. The essence of the conversation was like, at the end of the day, man, it's your channel, so you are gonna convey whatever you want. So if you want a sick ass layout with all these graphics and shit, cool, that's you. If you just want to be in your bedroom and playing, that's you. So it's your channel, and people are gonna tune into that channel or not. Now, whatever attracts them, that's gonna be different things. But at the end of the day, it's gotta be you. And so, like with me, with my channel, like I like, that's just how my mindset works. Like I like to make sure everything's like real nice and clean and shit. And I always think of it as a brand thing. So that's why I do that. Now I'm not saying, again, like we were talking about, like you don't have to do that, but that's just how I operate, And so if you like that, cool, I'm gonna be for you. And if you don't like that, then it's no hard feelings, like we were talking about.
Yeah, no, that's not. And that's the thing with Twitch. It's cool. It's like you can, not feeling it. Boom, next one. It's you can, bro. It's like 100 nightclubs open
Yeah,
every day,
yeah.
kind of thing. If you think about it, it's like you can go to each nightclub.
Bro,
Like,
and that's why I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm in heaven, dude. I'm in like it's funny. I was in we're doing all these name drops, but I was in who's that? I was in Reloads last night, or or I was in Mars too. I think the other day, and
uh-huh.
oh no, Gravities, and he was like, dang, Wally got all these emos. Shout out, look at he's a big baller. And I was like, honestly, bro, like it's far from that. Like I'm just on Twitch so much, and I'm like, like
Yeah,
in everybody's chat that I get a bunch of free subs. Like everybody's gifting subs just because
everybody
I'm
gifting
in
subs.
there,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and so I mean, yeah. I mean, it looks like I fucking ball out because I have so many, but
yeah. I
it's
know what
just
you mean,
really
bro.
I just like to hang out in them. I mean, because the music and I mean we're locked
Music
away
lover.
anyway, so yeah, like
Yeah,
and kind of like we're talking about like searching for music, like here's a DJ who's already kind of done the work, so all you got to do is listen, and whenever you see something that you like, boom, like either ask for it or Shazam it, and now
yeah.
you increase your
You
crate,
got
you
it.
know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's all it's all about, man. It's. I love doing it, man. I look forward to every stream. Like I stream Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and yeah, man, it's a lot of fun every stream. You become like friends with people that you just know their default name.
Yeah.
Literally, you've never seen their faces before.
Yep.
You just become like best friends with people that you don't even know, but they're consistently on your channel, gifting you, cheering you,
Yeah.
and you've never seen their face.
And
It's crazy. It's crazy to me.
it is, and then how about like not only is that crazy, but how crazy is it as to how important it is to your stream? You know what I mean?
Uh,
Like how much does that do for you? Like a
yeah.
person in the chat, like, talking or whatever, like, bro, like you're just like, oh man, you feel so good?
Well, you vibe off their
Yeah.
energy because if there's no nothing happening in the chat, because think about it,
Yeah.
you're in a room with a camera.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody in the camera unless there's someone that's helping you with your stream.
Right.
No one's there.
Right.
The only vibe you can get in energy is on the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And if no one's in the chat chatting, you're like, like it's awkward.
Yeah.
But I mean, you start. There's been situations like that, but then you start talking like, think of the most random shit. Like, yo, do you guys remember punch buggies? Remember when you could see a fucking bug and you punch someone, punch buggy, like anything, just to talk about, just to get the kind of the chat room going.
Yeah.
Like anything. Like that's one thing Concrete told me. He's like, bro, if you ever get to ever awkward, just talk about the most stupidest shit. Like, yo, yesterday I had like so much gummy bears, and it fucking hurt my stomach. Like something, anything that's just gonna spark some sort of like
Yeah.
conversation.
Random thing.
You know what I mean? Random.
Yeah.
It's random. And but the thing is, that's why I vibe. I vibe. I get my energy through the chat.
Yeah.
Not like the whole subs and all that shit. No, just the fact that people are interacting.
Right.
Of course, the subs and all that stuff. It's nice.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? It's helpful, and
Appreciated. Greatly appreciated.
very grateful for that. Very grateful. Exactly. But the fact that they're on there listening and
Mm-hmm.
they're chatting, like and then I love when they have conversations with each other too. Like that's dope. Like that's awesome to
And
me.
I'll tell you right now, like, I mean, everything that we've talked about is huge, but that right there, that's gonna be the clip for the show, because I think like that's so important, and that's also like why I don't know if you've seen, but I recently posted on an Instagram story. I was like, you can literally, I said this as in a tweet. It was, you can literally support your homie, and I put in quotations, homie, for free, and it's crazy that you still won't do it. Like essentially, that's what it said.
Mhm.
But it's like,
And
dude, go ahead.
that's why I tell people, like, also too, like, even if you're not, you like, okay, so Twitch is like a different world, right?
Right.
And it's, to people that are not familiar with it, it's intimidating. Where a lot of people have the misconception of, oh, you're on Twitch, oh, I have to pay to watch you. I'm good, bro. I
Yeah.
could just watch and I'm good. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, there's a specific person, I'm not gonna say a name.
Yeah.
It's one of my family members. Hope he's not watching. But he was like, I was like, yo, bro,
Hey. Well,
like,
honestly, hey, if it is, this is This is real.
Exactly.
This
I
is
told
real.
him, I told him, I was like, yo, bro, jump on. He's like, nah, bro, like I don't want to like kind of pay for it. Like, I was like, what do you mean pay for it? He goes, with the app, I'm cool. Like, I'll just listen to your mixes kind of thing. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, I saw you one time and you were like, people were like throwing stuff, and I was like, dude, you don't have to pay for it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy as one, two, three to on the app. Like, and that's the misconception. That's why a lot of people didn't make that switch. That's why, like, for example, Angie V, when she switched over to Twitch, she like first of all, she's like a marketing genius because she went on live on IG
Yeah.
and was like, yo, I'm gonna make a live, not play music, but listen, I want to make a live and literally talk to you guys like this and tell you what Twitch is about,
Mm-hmm.
how to join me, to let them know, like, hey, no hard feelings, I'm leaving IG, but I'm gonna go to Twitch now. Like, this is gonna be my home now.
Right.
So the fact that she sat there and she told them exactly what to do, I'm assuming she got a lot of her supporters, because her support fan base,
Oh yeah.
she's
Yeah.
she's like the queen of Twitch, bro.
Yes, she is. Yes, I would
And
agree with that.
and so
Can't argue. And
yeah,
she's
and so
fucking. I mean, just real quick, like, yo, I'm sure you have the same sentiment, but Angie V is like awesome. I love Angie V. She's cool.
yeah, no, she's a great girl.
Yeah.
She's a sweetheart. Like,
Yes.
she's a sweetheart, and
She's
I
real.
love
She's
her
a
passion.
fucking work ethic.
Yeah.
You know. She
I love
works
her
hard.
passion for this music stuff that she does. I just love it.
Oh yeah.
And so that was genius. And she got a majority, and she still like was put like I think it was last week that she posted, like, you know how that little what's that thing that says like make the switch to Twitch
Yeah.
and exactly what to
Yeah.
do. Like, she posted that as
Instructions.
like a post, like, because a lot of people, I'm pretty sure she still gets people saying, come back to Instagram. What are you doing over there? It's easier on Instagram because I could just click on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, you could do the same thing on Twitch.
Yep.
Like, if my parents, bro, like, look, serious, my mom and my dad are on it, what the hell's your excuse, dude?
Yeah.
My parents aren't on it. Like, there's no
I'm
excuse.
still having to
Now,
twist my parents' arm to fucking get on it.
yeah, what I'm saying is just like, if you're gonna support, you're gonna support. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just it's support us, man. This is what we're doing right now.
And
You know what I
and
mean?
you know what? Like, I was having I was having a similar conversation last night with B Rock, and I was saying, like, like, because of that tweet, it's like some people were like, oh, who's that for, blah blah, and it wasn't for anyone particular. I was just saying, like, if you feel like it's towards you, then maybe you should just come show some love, But
Yep.
I mean, it really does kind of like, I really was deep in thought yesterday, where it's like, it's right now is one of those times where, like, it really makes you reflect on your supporters and your friends, and
I
for
was
those
just having a conversation
and
with
for those who are listening, like, I'm putting air quotes, who those are your friends or who are your supporters, because yeah, it's very easy to be around someone and support somebody at their heights, when things are great, and oh, like, they can get you into the club and all this shit, but like,
That's very
like
true.
right now is when I need my support the most, and it's so saddening how a lot of them are not here.
And the thing is, people get. I'm sorry to interrupt
You're
you,
good.
but people get that twisted. Like, support doesn't mean throwing bits, and like, we are grateful for that
Yes.
support, bits or sub.
Yes.
Support is just being there, dude. Because every viewer counts.
Amen.
Affiliate, fucking partner.
Yeah.
Even that's what I tell my people. Look, even if you're not gonna watch me, that's fine.
Yeah.
Put me on that audio only thing and have me in the background. Turn the volume down. Just have me as a viewer.
Yes.
Every viewer counts.
Yes.
That's what people don't understand.
Yes.
Every single viewer counts, dude.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. It just support me on that.
Mhm.
Even if you're working, even if you don't really, if it's not your thing, just fucking put me on audio only. Just give me a view,
Bro.
because that's support.
And dude, I mean, yeah, I've been saying the same exact thing. I mean, it's even a matter of like what you're saying, like, essentially, yeah, you don't, like, I do not expect you to sit in front of your computer for my entire sets. Like, maybe I'm doing a 3-hour
no,
set,
for sure.
and I don't expect that.
Of course.
But guess what? Could you have it on and just leave it? And then, yeah, even if you put it on, like, this is full transparency, bro. Even if you put that shit on mute, at least I'm getting that viewer. you know,
That,
and you're still like there supporting me. Like, yeah, I understand you can't. Maybe right now
yeah,
when I'm doing my set, that's family time, and you're gonna watch a movie with them, or you're doing something with the family, and I get that. But yeah, I mean, it's so easy to just fucking tune in and then just let it in the background or something. And you know,
yeah. Just
I have, dude, I have, you know, and I know they're not watching it, but I have best friends that I've known like all my life, and they haven't tuned in one time, and that hurts. It does, man. You know, and
I'm in the same boat right now, brother.
yeah.
I'm in the same. I just had a conversation with one of my friends, one of my two best friends, man. Like, and it's sad because people that you've never met, and maybe you'll even never meet them in your life, are fucking supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's sad. It sucks, dude.
Yeah,
Because I mean, I still love them, and you know what I mean. But
I do.
it's sad, like, that, bro. Do you understand? Like, there's no like gigs for us at all. Like, I lost every single fucking gig, and sorry if I'm like venting, but it's true. Like, it's very for the people that you think are most gonna help you. They're not.
Yeah. No, no,
They're not.
and that's
Not
nothing.
there. So,
That's nothing to be
and you start
to
like,
apologize about. It's real, and it's you know like how real it is right now. Like that's how real it is for a lot of us, and that's how we all feel.
yeah, definitely. So, yeah, man, that's my thing on that. But like I
Yeah.
said, man, it is what it is, dude. If they're gonna support, if they don't, then
On a
move
look
on,
at
man.
now. So look at okay. So like on a flip side of things, and how like um you know, to uplift the conversation, I will say this, that me and B Rock were also talking last night, and we were saying that how like it's crazy that, you know, it's funny that like stocks and shit like that are like really like in the talk right now, right? But essentially, for those who got into Twitch early on, that was like buying an early stock, bro, because your stock is just going the fuck up. And like, you
That's
know,
true.
um like I just got an email about my first check, and my first check is $120, right? But on
Mhm.
Friday, I made like $70, and for me that's big, you know, like that's cool, and I could only imagine if you had got on it early, you know, I could only imagine what someone like John B's making, or like Angie V or Bella, or even you, because even you, like, you have the viewers up there, you know. I mean, and
Uh,
I'm not to say like that you're making the most, but you're definitely like your stock is rising, bro, and it, you know, like that's exciting.
yeah, and it's funny that, which is another conversation we can have like another day. But the conversation could be now. Things gonna get tricky when we open up
Yes.
to clubs, because now, like, for example, let's say you were getting a solid $300 a night, where you can make like any between like 150 to 300 in your own comfort of your own home
Mm.
on Twitch. So you want to get in your car, fill up gas, go there, buy a drink at the bar, play, wait forever to get paid, leave, go buy food, and come back home, or
or fucking
turn on your
yeah,
equipment in your comfort in my
in
streaming
your fucking
studio
pajamas.
on your boxers, turn that shit off and go to bed.
Begs the question, bro.
So that's where it's gonna get tricky. That's why I
Right.
feel like that's where it might get tricky, because the thing is, right now you're gonna get the whole from promoters are gonna be like, hey, bro, obviously the pandemic's happening. If you're getting
Mm-hmm.
300, not can we only can kick you
Mm-hmm.
down with 100, bro. Work with us, man. Like, just it's tough right now. Work with us.
Yeah.
So that's your decision. Are
Yeah.
you making? But then you get another thing where DJs that are not twitching, they're like, yeah, I'll take the 100. I want to play.
Yeah.
So then that undercut start to. It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
that's another whole
I
thing.
no,
So,
I
but you know what I mean. Like,
but it is, I mean
those are things to think
yeah,
about.
yeah, exactly. It's a thought. It's a thought to make a parent, and I definitely have had that thought, and
Yeah.
that's why, I mean, you know, as far as like, I mean, fortunately for me, like, well, not, I mean, whatever, but like my thought process as how this year is gonna go, like I don't expect to do any like IRL gigs. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying I do not expect it. And so that being
Uh-huh.
said, what I do expect is I do expect to get like a real like a 9 to 5 so that I could pay down some debt. I have like $4,000 of debt that I want to get rid of. That's kind of been hanging over my head for a while, so I want to get rid of that debt.
Nice.
And then just crack down really like on like put in a lot of energy towards Twitch, but also just really cracking down on my skill. Like I really want to get really good. I mean, this is the year that I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for that, and it's such a that's like the silver lining of the pandemic is the fact that because it's like everything's so locked down, you're not gonna get anything you can even do. You're not gonna get the full experience of what you normally would. So why not just crack the fuck down, and you don't have FOMO, and just like I really just want to handle business this year. So I'm actually kind of excited about that.
That's good. That's good. Well, that's actually really good to like, and then the whole thing about practicing, like perfecting your craft. Like that's you right now. It's the best time.
Yes.
It's the best time to do that right now, and that's how I feel too. Like goes back with the whole falling in love with DJing again. So, but yeah, man, it's crazy that we are here, and a year ago at this time we were in the clubs. Like, it's crazy.
It is, man. Well, I think
crazy.
that that's good, man. I think we can conclude it at this. I think we got a lot of information out. Like I said, that part that I was talking about, I'm really gonna fucking have to clip that, and that's gonna be that like, on the Instagram for sure.
Yeah, man. It was Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Brother. Oh no, you go.
Yeah, it just talking about it, because you think sometimes you think about it, you think like, dude, am I tripping? But then you talk to someone about it, like, yo, I was thinking the same thing. Like, you're right.
Yeah, man.
Like I that's why when you were talking, I was like, yo, there's a conversation I was just having with my wife like yesterday about the whole French thing, and with this whole pandemic, you realize who like really fucks with you and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Like it opens up your life, your eyes to a bunch of shit. You're like,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Like you start,
Yeah.
So
you
that's just
and like you said, and like I said too, it's like we love those people, but you're saying a lot. Your actions are saying a lot, and it's definitely like being taken into consideration.
Yeah. And I guess like like I said, life happens, bro. I mean, they're busy and doing their thing, and I get that, but once a month would be cool,
No,
like,
but the sad thing about that is that they weren't busy when shit was normal, and it's way too fucking convenient to like the thing itself, to the fact of like how to do it is too fucking convenient for them to argue that like, oh, I'm busy. Like, bro, I don't care if you got a whole fucking planned out day. Guess what? You leave your computer on my channel and go do your shit, bro. And you're fucking supporting me, and I'm happy. And I don't even know the difference if you're there or not. I don't got a camera watching you. Like, no, man, you didn't even watch the whole thing. Fuck you. Nah, man, you just do that effort.
It's crazy, just to kind of circle into like what we're talking about is, for example, dude, there's a subscriber on my Twitch. I don't know if you've seen my Instagram, but there's a subscriber on Twitch that's been like a fan of mine, what I do.
Mm-hmm.
He bought me a billboard.
Dude, we didn't even talk about that. We didn't talk about so perfect. Like I'm glad you fucking brought that up. Thank you, bro. Oh my god, I'm so glad that we didn't talk about that. I totally would have forgot about that shit. Perfect. Yes, perfect way.
Yeah, so randomly the subscriber was like, "Yo, can you send me your can you send me a picture and a logo?" And I was like,
dude, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm getting goosebumps, bro. Oh my god. I can't wait to
So he I was like, yeah, that's fine. And so this was like last week. So I was like, yeah, of course, bro. Like, here, like, and on my head, I'm like thinking, is he gonna make like a flyer? Like, what? I don't know what he needs it for, right? So I was telling the wife, I was like, what do you think? And she goes, I don't know, like, baby, what if he like, it's like a park, like a bench or something? I don't know, like those advertisements on the bench.
Oh.
And I was like, nah.
I like how you guys are optimists about it. I would have been thinking negative, like this motherfucker wants to like use it or some shit.
Right. So we were at Costco on Friday. entering Costco, my wife and I get a text message, and he was like, "Yo, bro, have you ever been to Palmdale?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I know where Palmdale's at, but I don't never been there." He goes, and he sends me a picture of the billboard. It says Eddie, the whole Eddie with my face in it. Bro, my wife starts crying like
Mm.
of how like exciting this
Bro, I'm
is,
about to
dude.
start
Like
crying.
it's crazy. I like I got very I was first of all I was completely speechless, and then he was just like, "Yo, I got this for you. Like I'm gifting you this billboard,
Mm.
and basically continue what you're doing. Thank you for like getting me through this like our the pandemic. Like you're keep doing what you're doing. I see the passion that you have for the love of for with your craft. Like I'm gonna gift I gifted you this, so it's gonna
Oh.
run. It's running for the whole month. Um, and I, bro, it's crazy because I ain't gonna lie, man. I got a little like tiny and emotional because it was, bro, I'm on a fucking billboard. Like I know there's billboards like in Vegas with DJs and stuff like that, and shit. Don't get me wrong, if that was like on my thing, I'll be flipping the fuck out. And I know there's a lot of DJs already got that, but a kid from like the IE, like that's someone bought it for me, not because a lot of people are thinking that too that I bought it. No, heck no, bro. I'm broke as hell right now with we all my gigs are canceled. Like, and it's not it's pretty pricey, bro.
Yeah.
Especially it's a digital
Yeah.
billboard.
Yeah.
Like it's pricey. So yeah, he was just like, yo. So he goes, if you want me to change anything, any picture or wording, like let me know. If not, we'll keep on running it.
Oh my
And
God,
bro,
bro.
and we got in the car following day, the wife and I, we just took off, and it was about like a little bit over an hour. And as soon as we hit the freeway, we see it, and right there, boom, Eddie Boy,
Oh my
and bro, like
God.
we pulled out because it's in the where it's at. It's like in the mall.
Yeah.
It's his mall, very busy area, a bunch of shopping centers
Right.
everywhere, and so it's off the 14 freeway in Palmdale. And so we stay there. We took pictures and stuff because it's um and I've never met this guy before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who he is. I've never met him, never, bro. Like I only know him by the default name.
Jesus.
I never met him, and so
Ah.
I don't, you know what I mean? Because it'd be different. Like, oh, I known him. Like it's my uncle or my friend from years, and he just no. I've never met this guy.
Yeah, man.
I've only I've never met him. He just randomly was on my chat and loves what I do, and was like, "Yo, I'm getting you a billboard," and he bought me a space on the billboard.
Mm.
Unfucking real, like it was,
That's a
and
clap,
so
bro. Fuck, dude.
thank you,
Man.
brother.
That's so
Yeah,
fucking
man,
amazing, man.
yeah,
That's so
and it's
amazing.
just it's a very I'm like forever grateful, man, and it's a very like a true blessing to have someone gift you something like that you've never met in your life before.
Mm.
Like you don't know what this guy, you never met, and he literally blessed me with my own billboard, and unreal. It's unreal, and my wife is still in cloud nine. Like she still can't believe it.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole time when we're in Costco, just walking, just couldn't believe it, bro. Like this is unreal. Like we look at it like unreal. And so when we finally saw it, like, and it's just, yeah, it's dope, man. It was a dope feeling. Like,
That is, dude. That's a fucking. Oh man, that's a beautiful story, bro. I love that. And like, and just really, really, really quick, but to say that the whole reason that I was at DJ City event, the Beyond the Music event,
okay,
somebody
sure.
paid my trip to go there. A
Oh no
friend of
way.
mine, and this is like a friend like that's
Okay.
like it's not even like the super like OG homie. This is just somebody that same thing that believes in me, and so I
Hmm.
I know that feeling, man, and like
Yeah. It's just a more trip to me that I've never met him,
yeah,
and it's through Twitch.
yeah,
Like he flipping was like,
yeah, dude,
you know what I mean? Like I'm just speechless,
yeah,
bro.
that's amazing, man.
So I'm just forever grateful with that, and then just like I said, um,
We'll let you know you're on
I,
the
li-
right
I
path, bro. You're
so
doing something right, bro.
yeah,
Like you're
thank you,
doing
man.
something right for
Thank you,
sure.
brother.
Um,
Thank you, bro. Also wanted to just say too,
yeah,
so I have a show on Sirius XM radio, on
Pitbull.
Pitbull's
Yep,
Globalization on Channel 13,
yep.
right? I have my own show on Sundays, and what I'm gonna start doing, I haven't said anything yet. I haven't made it like public yet, but it's in the works. So what I want to do is I'm all about like kind of like giving to DJs that I feel that have so much talent, but they're not being heard.
Mm.
So what I want to
Sounds
do
familiar.
is exactly. So what I want to do is on my Sunday show, it's every Sunday, right? 5 p.m. Once a month, maybe like the last Sunday of every month, I want to break down my slot. So I'll do the first half hour and then or they can do the first half hour and I'll do the second half hour.
Right.
But I want to bring in DJs in there and I'll put their name, everything like shout them out, have them media and everything just to give them that shine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I feel there's a lot of DJs out there that are very
Yes,
talented,
sir.
very hungry, very humble and genuine. Like they're actually genuine, like good
Yes,
dudes.
sir.
And I feel like they deserve some sort of shine, man.
Yes,
Like
sir.
so if I have that platform, you know what I'm saying, and I can help someone out like that, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm all about, dude. Like, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna make it public and do it all big thing. So I'm gonna start like, I want to start filling the slots up like for those months. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So but I'll make it public like on my Instagram what I'm gonna do. But it's in the works. We still have to like dot some I's and cross some T's, kind of still, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Figure out like a name of the show and stuff like that. So, but that's basically in the process right now. What's happening with that? So, because I'm all about just helping DJs out that are like that literally are doing this because they love it.
Yeah.
Like they love what they do.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they're like, dude, like how can I become like on the radio and how can I like get more gigs and maybe this will be like a good like stepping stone for you, like to get your feet
For
wet
sure.
and have people hear you. Because bro, Sirius XM is crazy, like millions and millions and gazillions of
Right.
listeners. I listen to that show because if you think about it, this pandemic we were at home. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so people didn't listen to radio. Like radio was not like I don't remember the last time I listened to like a Power 106 or Kiss
Yeah.
FM or Amp
Same.
Radio. You know what I mean? It's Sirius XM that I'm always listening to. Um, so why not help out, others and let them get their shine too as well,
Right.
man. Because I feel like you can't be selfish in this game, bro.
Yeah.
You have to be. You can't be like gimme, 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 and not like help out. Like you know,
I got a zero tolerance for people like that, bro. I really do.
yeah, it's just
I
you
don't deal
can't
with
be
them.
that way. You have to. And right now with Twitch, we're all in the same playing field, bro.
Yeah.
For example, like before this, you had your Vice, you had your Deluxe Five, you had Medina. They're fucking giant. They're heavyweights in the game, and I'm right here. Me personally, I'm like right down here,
Yeah.
like and now we're all right
Yeah.
here because it can be like I can have not to say it happened, but I can have 80 people and Vice can have 15.
Yeah.
So we're all like when I'm saying we're all right
Yes.
here, like we're on the same playing field. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so I just think it's just that's why I tell DJs like, yo, jump on it, man. Like if you haven't done so, jump on Twitch, like stream, like trust me, you're gonna break out. If you're a very quiet, very like, no, I don't run on the mic. I don't talk on the mic, bro. It's okay. You'll break it. You'll break
But
that.
also, I mean, you can be successful in that light. Like some people don't want it. Like I listen to there's a Twitch channel that I follow where they don't talk at all and they only play house music, and I'm like fucking vibing and shit,
Yeah,
and like I'm okay with there's no audio because
bro,
that's
yeah, exactly. Just stream. What I'm trying to say is
yeah,
stream. There's so many DJs, and we know a lot of DJs that are not on Twitch that haven't streamed one
right,
time. I don't even know where they're
yeah,
at, like what they're
yeah,
doing.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Whatever. I hope they're well, but stream, man. Like, trust me, stream. This is like the future. Like, you can get a lot of like, by streaming, bro, on Twitch. There's so many opportunities hit your way. I'll give you an example, not to brag, but like just because of streaming, I got, I was able to play on Beatport or stream on Beatport. Like Beatport's the biggest fucking dance, website in the whole entire
right,
world. So they had this stream, and I was one of the few that was selected to play on the
right,
stream. Second, Power Tools. I was on Power Tools. Power Tools, bro. Like that's a legendary show from like back in the days. Richard Vision,
Yeah.
like Swedish Eagle. I was on
Right.
there. You know what I mean? And then I got also two scam. I was asked to go play and drop a guest spot on Scam Artists'
Right.
Twitch. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like all these there. That's what I'm saying. Opportunities are gonna come
Yes.
your way.
Yes.
Just continue being consistent.
Yes.
Um, and love what you do because you'll show on your
Yeah.
show. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And all these opportunities are gonna come your way.
Yes.
And I'm a prime example. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And look what happened with the whole Billboard thing. Like,
That's
bro,
what you should have said. I got a billboard, motherfuckers.
exactly. It's just I'm I'm very sometimes I tend to just be very private, but I'm excited, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's a fucking
Hey,
billboard, like, and I'm
that
excited.
better
Like,
be coming soon in an emo, dog. I want to see a fucking Eddie Boy fucking billboard emo, motherfucker. Make it happen,
yeah, man. It
dog.
was
Make it happen. I want to see it, dog. I'm subbing.
that's right,
I'm
man.
subbing.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Yeah, so yeah, man, that's basically my like a little bit of my story, man. How I started and
And how it's
the all
going.
the path. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of more. There was a lot of like downs. There was a lot of ups and a lot. It wasn't easy, man.
Right.
But if you put your mind into something like that and really put your work, I know it's everyone says it. The more you work harder, it's gonna pay off. But it really
Yeah.
will. I went from getting a piece of pie, a cake, as as like no money. When I did my first gig, a piece of cake, bro, a slice of
Yeah.
cake.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the fucking whole entire to having my fucking
Yeah.
face on a billboard, bro.
You get what you put in, and I definitely agree with that sentiment for sure. And that's what I always tell
Yeah,
people. Like, like we were talking, you think it's gonna happen overnight? It doesn't, and you got to put that work in.
yeah, yeah, man. It's yeah. That's thank you everyone for if you guys are still in here, man. Thank you guys
No, and
for
that's the
being.
beauty of it. Like, I mean, honestly, what the readout says right now is that we have 9 viewers, but um, you know, that's just right now, and I primarily have listeners, so people like listen to it, or they'll watch it. It's
Yeah,
also going to be available on YouTube. Um, so yeah, man, people are going to hear it, and especially
yeah,
like I said, that clip, the essence of it, like, I mean, we actually had quite a few conversations where like, I think people needed to be like all ears, and it's gonna be nice to share all that.
yeah. They can and dude, Twitch is dope. There's just tons of like dope ass channels you can watch, man. Like Four Color Zach has a really dope ass channel. Miles Medina has his Sunday thing, like that's one of my favorites. Scratch Bastard, Boy Genius, Spinoza, Angie.
Yep.
There's just a lot of dope ass talented DJs, and just it's fun to watch, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like I said, if you're a DJ, man, just jump on it and don't get discouraged with the whole, bro. There's only been like one or two people watch me. That say like, why am I doing that? Like, why? No, keep doing it, man. I started with the whole two. I don't have hundreds and hundreds of
Right.
viewers, yeah, but I have, I feel that I'm gonna get there one day.
Yeah.
It's gonna take time, but I feel like I'm gonna get there one
Yeah.
day where I'm gonna have a solid 100 people right away watching
Well,
me.
I mean,
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, like I said, like I like to make that connection with the tangible people, and dude, John B, is like he fucking had 300 people last night in his stream, and he's like,
I always
I
had,
fucking
yeah,
I know where that motherfucker lives, like
yeah,
I fucking been at his house, I've done events with him, and he's super cool, and it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
because he's been consistent, he's been doing Twitch, again,
That's the key right there.
his
That's the
yeah,
key.
consistency, and
Consistency.
he put his he bought his stock in like April, and he's been fucking riding that, he's been going hard with
Mhm.
it.
That's a big key right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Consistency. So you have to be
Yeah.
consistent because the thing is, people will get used to every time you're
Yeah.
on. If you're doing it right, and let's say you're like 10 minutes late, you'll get a message like, "Hey, where are you?"
Yeah.
Because they're so used to
Mm.
at this hour, I'm gonna tune into Wally.
Yep. Yep.
So be consistent, like, and be very like communicate with your people, with your subs.
Mhm.
Let them know if you're not gonna stream. Let them know because they'll be like, "Yo, what the heck?" Like, it will kind of mess up the day because they're looking forward to like watching you.
Mm.
They get addicted to watching you and become like a family. You know what I mean? And so be communicate, always communicate with them. Like let them know, like, yo guys, I'm not gonna be on this Sunday. Gonna take a rest. I'll see you guys on Monday or Tuesday, whatever, whenever
Okay.
you stream.
Cool.
You know what I mean? So always
That's
be
good because I actually was gonna skip out on Thursday and I was just gonna do like an Instagram post, but I could do more than that, and I know that I could send an email, so I will do that.
send it. I was gonna tell you, make sure you send the
Yes,
email.
sir.
Just and I guarantee, dude, people love that. Like they'll be like, all right, cool. Like, it's more of a personal,
Hmm.
like you're being personal with them,
Yes, sir.
and that's what they want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just like that, that's what I'm saying. And just like, you know, have fun with it, man.
Yeah.
Life is good, bro.
All right, man. Well, like I said, man, I appreciate everything, man, and I'm
Of
very
course,
happy for
bro.
you.
Thank you for having me,
No,
man. Thank you.
I'm
Thank you so
honored.
much,
I'm
bro.
honored
I
that you
appreciate
wanted
that.
to be on here too. Um,
Oh no, man, for sure. Of course.
so
Yeah.
the way that I always end every podcast is like, and I think if people didn't get the message, maybe they skipped through it, but like, um, I always ask like, if there's any way that anyone could support you or help you, like because of the information that you shared today, you could go
Uh-huh.
ahead and relay that. So whether it's just, you're trying to push your Instagram or you're trying to promote your Twitch, whatever it is, now's your time to like, you know, do all your social media stuff or whatever you want to like, whatever you feel like people could help you in the most area. Or even sometimes people are like, oh, you know what? I've been looking for a graphic designer or whatever. Like literally
And
anything, any shape or form, someone can help you. Now's your time to like go ahead and express that.
Um, yeah, I mean, actually, I'm looking for someone to design a new logo for me. So if anyone out there, any designers, like, hit me
There
up.
you go.
I'm looking for a new logo. But other than that, just my Instagram. I pretty like I try to put right now. I'm putting more content out.
Yes.
I try to do like some like wordplay stuff that I like. Basically, like I'll take some parts of my shows and then I'll recreate it again and then put it on Instagram, like on my Twitch
Right.
shows. So if I like a certain wordplay I did on my show,
Right.
I'll re-record it back and then I'll put it on my Instagram. So I'm gonna start doing that on a weekly basis. So if you guys can follow me on Instagram, it's DJ Eddieboy,
Yep.
and then Twitch. My link on my Twitch is on my bio. So yeah, if you guys can check out on Tuesdays, I call it the Afternoon Delight from 2:30 to 4, and then Fridays is Fresh Fridays from 11 in the morning till 1 p.m. And then the legendary funny shit show Saturdays on at 8 o'clock p.m. till whatever time Tito decides to hit, to creep in, bro. So yeah, I have fun with it. It's cool. So, but yeah, man, thank you for once again for having me, Wally, and shouts to all the DJs that tuned in and everyone else that's tuned in that's gonna tune in. So
All right, man. Blessings. Well, from behind the booth, friends, family, listeners, thank you once again. This is episode 32 with my friend DJ Eddieboy. Eddieboy, man, I love you, man. It was dope.
love you too, brother. Thank you so much,
All
man.
right,
You have a
I'm
great day,
ending the
brother.
stream now.